the Ringer Fantasy Football Show. My name is Danny Heifetz, and I'm joined by Danny Kelly and Craig Horlbeck, and like a dozen dudes that are in this house at this bachelor party that I'm at in Michigan, and I don't know if any of them are going to walk in at any moment. So if that happens, you'll know why. We're going to go through all the games in week 2. Weirdly important week. We're going to go through fantasy. We'll do the Ringer 107 gambling stuff at the end of the show. And yeah, that's what I got right now.
We actually, we recorded... We actually did this episode 40 minutes ago. We tried to do an intro and start the show, and then 12 dudes barged into a house with Heifetz. And so we had to stop and wait for them to leave to go golf.
They could come back at any moment. So who knows? So anyway, yeah, we'll get to the show. First, a quick break. This episode of the Ringer Fantasy Football Show is presented by Hyundai. The all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid proves that an incredible SUV is so much more than the sum of its parts. It's more than a spacious interior. It's more than being able to navigate difficult terrain. And it's way more than driving farther than you ever thought possible. It's the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid. So much more than just another SUV. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details. All right, we're going to get to all the games for week 2, and I want to start with a tired but true thing, which is teams that start 0-2 in the NFL have a 11% chance to make the playoffs. And so it's really boring analysis, but it's true. If you're 0-1 this week and you start 0-2, you're probably fucked. So DK, I mean, my team is the Giants. They're not going to make the playoffs, doesn't matter. But your team's 0-1, and it's a cliche, but it's actually a really weirdly important game for every 0-1 team.
Yeah, I mean, and it scares me because obviously the Steelers played very well in week 1. My Seahawks go to Pittsburgh and play in the early frame, the early slate, if you will.
Their body clocks on the Pacific morning.
10 a.m. According to the Pacific time zone is what the bodies of the Seahawks players are going to be feeling over there. And historically, they've not played well in those games. So I'm very nervous. Craig, you can tell me if I should be nervous or not, but I don't love the feeling right now of the Seahawks going to Pittsburgh.
I think I'm unwilling to be. I can't be a purely optimistic person, and so in my heart, I feel like this is a great spot for Seattle. And honestly, with week 2 in general, the answer is you should probably zag. Week 1 and week 2 are crapshoots, and so it's honestly whatever happened in week 1, the opposite will probably happen in week 2. There are a lot of fantasy duds in week 1. I think we'll get to a lot of them, but I think you can bet a lot of those guys in week 2. So if week 2 goes how it normally does, DK, the Steelers are going to look like shit and the Seahawks are going to win by 20.
Yeah,
well, that'd be great.
True. Oh, look, people are back. Nah, it's fine. Fuck it. Let's just keep playing out. We ain't waiting for them anymore. No, I agree. Oh God. No, he's the actual bachelor. So how much longer are you guys going to be here? All right, great. It's fine. Screw them.
They've been about to leave for 40 minutes.
Like any group of dudes. This is why on a bachelor party,
Just
you have to lie
about
about times. You have to gaslight people about timing. But I will say the week 1 thing, the Rich Rebar at Sharp Fantasy, or just Sharp Football, had a great stat that was fewest touchdowns for running backs in week 1 in 9 years, fewest fantasy points for receivers in week 1 in 9 years. How loud is that fridge? The show is just leave it in. The show's fucking.
Is he going to break out that bag of ice and start just crunching the bag of ice right next to you?
Whatever. At this point, everyone can hear our pain.
They're putting away their bachelor party groceries, which always consist of 1 bag of Sam's bagels, bananas that nobody will eat, and granola bars and cream cheese.
You think they get older, they get better, but they're all the same. They're all the same. Oh my God. Emails for your fantasy football team if you feel our pain. Okay, we can talk about this at the end. But yeah, I just want to say the week 1 thing, no running backs scored touchdowns, no receivers got yards, and even quarterbacks had new week 1 records for rushing attempts, rushing yards, and rushing touchdowns for quarterbacks. Even that, I'm like, yeah, it's broken plays.
It was
That's
a
not
mess.
Even impressive.
I believe there were 14 quarterbacks who threw for less than 200 yards this week.
Ugh.
I mean, outside of Derrick Henry and Bijan and Christian McCaffrey, there was not a lot of running backs who had good weeks. It was gross across the board. You had guys like Ashton Genty running for 2 yards a carry. I mean, Bijan Robinson, if he didn't have that 50-yard touchdown, he ran for 2 yards a carry. So it was really brutal.
Week 1 is an extension of the preseason. By week 3 and 4, teams are doing it, but teams are kind of back in the flow. But the reality is the physicality of the offensive line, the time of the offensive line. I mean, 2 CBAs ago, they had 2-a-days. They literally could practice in pads twice in the same day. Now they can't really practice in pads that many times per week. And so preseason, I mean, how many plays are offensive lines getting? They're just not. And so never mind all the complexity of blitzes and stuff and coverage rotations. They're not seeing that in the preseason. Everything's fucked. So week 2 is kind of in between the shittiness of week 1 and the actual improvements by the October.
There were so many moments during this last week of like analyzing all the games and everybody's going back and like pointing out the different misses that quarterbacks had. And I saw this so many times on Twitter this week. It was like, maybe this guy should have played in the preseason. You know what I mean? Like all the quarterbacks trying to get on the same page with their receivers and everything. So it is, this is kind of the new reality in the NFL is offenses are going to be really rusty to start the season. I think defense is ahead of offense.
With that said, we have to start with, the game of the year of the week.
This is the game of the year.
The game of the year. Part 2, Eagles-Chiefs, the Super Bowl rematch. So the Chiefs were favored in this game to start the week, which makes sense because the Chiefs were up 40-0 in the Super Bowl, right, DK?
You're so upset about this.
It's weird. It's weird. I've never seen anything like this. The Eagles were up 40-0 in the Super Bowl, right? I'm not making that up. That's true. Is it not?
Do you want me to get you a meeting with the guy who set the line, and so you
I don't
can
care.
tell
It's
him
not
a
about
piece
the
of your
line.
mind?
I don't actually care about the gambling aspect of it. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just shocked that, let me get this straight. The Eagles were up a bajillion points in the Chiefs. And then the Eagles lose defensive linemen, a bunch of players in free agency. I get that. I get that the Eagles' number 2 cornerback behind Quinion Mitchell is Adoree Jackson, who frankly was kind of on the decline with the Giants years ago. And now it's like a meme that Adoree Jackson. I get that. Like the Chiefs don't have problems. Who's going to take advantage of this in Kansas City? Juju Smith-Schuster is the oldest 27-year-old alive, other than Ben Solak.
He's
like Travis
27?
Kelce's the slow. Or it's 28. It's crazy.
I think he's 28
been in the
now,
league for a decade.
He is 37
It's 28.
in my mind. Yeah.
Like, I'm just saying, like, Kelce's the slowest player in the league. Like, who is taking advantage of this? Adoree Jackson is the Juju Smith-Schuster of quarterbacks. So I don't know. I just think it's weird. And maybe it's as simple as the Chiefs are at home. Patrick Mahomes is the quarterback.
Yeah,
the Eagles offense looked fine. The Chiefs didn't look great in week 1 either.
Well, and they
Chiefs
lost Xavier
from
Worthy.
Brazil.
They don't have Xavier Worthy. They have no Xavier Worthy. They have no Rashee Rice. They just also their own one. Maybe that's a factor. Heifetz, you talking about 0-2 teams pretty much don't make the playoffs. Maybe they're assuming that the Chiefs at 0-1 here at home are not going to lose this game, and so they deserve to be favored. Even though once that happened, everybody bet the Eagles, and now it's switched, and the Eagles are favored by 1.5.
Yeah, it's a moot point.
It's weird.
Chiefs are no longer actually favored. So,
well, I know, but still, in terms of fantasy point, I think Jalen Hurts, you're obviously playing Saquon. You're obviously playing AJ Brown. If you bench AJ Brown this week, you're crazy. Don't do that.
No,
the Chiefs though.
I wanted to touch on AJ Brown for just a second. There's been a lot of everyone's freaking out about AJ Brown. There was reports, because he was not healthy this offseason. He injured his hamstring last year. He had a nicked up hamstring in training camp this year. People thought he was a decoy. AJ Brown today or yesterday spoke about this and said, and I quote, "I saw all of that I had zero separation, that I was a decoy. None of those things are true. I got zoned the entire game. I didn't get one single man rep. So obviously there won't be any separation when I'm playing zone. I'm not hurt. I was not a decoy. It was just how the game went."
Yeah, it was just a matter of game script. Sometimes these things happen. I actually like AJ Brown this week for a couple of reasons. Number one, Chiefs' run defense is really strong.
Yeah,
they bottled up Amari Hampton last week to the point
they bottled up Saquon in the Super Bowl, which people kind of forget because they got destroyed. But Saquon had like 50 rushing yards on 25 carries in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and the Chiefs last year gave up the second fewest points per game to running backs. Only the Eagles were better. So if the Eagles can't really run, or they're not having a ton of success running the ball with Saquon this week, they're going to go to the passing game. They're going to go, and in their passing game, they always try to funnel it to AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. Dallas Goedert has a knee injury, which kind of cropped up earlier this week and out of nowhere kind of. And so now he's up in the air for this week. In the games when Goddard is out, it's really good for Devontae Smith and AJ Brown. And historically, in the last couple of years, both of those guys have gone off.
Devontae Smith is a top 10 to 12 receiver in fantasy when Dallas Goedert's out, and outside the top 40 when Dallas Goedert plays.
DK,
yeah.
How many? You know how it's like if you get in a fight with your partner, you got to make it up to him. I need make it up to you points from AJ Brown this week. He can't have a normal day. He needs to have a great day.
I think he will.
He needs to have north of 20 points, I think.
You have to play AJ Brown. I will say, though, AJ Brown's right. Like the Cowboys.
And he needs to bring me flowers. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say, though, Chiefs might just do that again.
Well, I don't really understand that because I'm like, wait, Why doesn't everybody do that?
Because you know what's funny? I think it's hard to try to contain Saquon, but also having two guys in A.J. Brown. I think the reality is what they're trying to do is make Jalen, you know how we're like, oh, Jalen Hurts just throws to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. And I think the Dallas game plan was make Jalen Hurts go to his third read every time,
and his third read was Dallas Goedert. But why can't A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith just like sit in zones? I don't understand.
No, they can. They're capable of doing it.
More
of course they are.
Him.
Yeah, I guess it's like you have an underneath and an over the top, and there's kind of nowhere for him to go. And by the time, and
I think he was to be clear on that stat or whatever that he was talking about, where he's like, I didn't get one man rep. I think he was just bristling at the idea that he wasn't separating. That was kind of like what.
It's funny. Honestly, him being mad about it's kind of funny to me.
This is an all time like squeaky wheel gets the grease game.
Exactly. I wish I could. How much can we bet on FanDuel? How much the odds that the first target the Eagles throw is to A.J. Brown? It's very high. Okay, so the other person I want to say is Isaiah Pacheco for the Chiefs. I have a little something scary. I don't know if I can play him. I don't know if I want to play.
I don't think
Pacheco.
you can.
Like Hollywood Brown, you can play. You got 5 carries.
I don't think you can play Isaiah Pacheco this week.
No.
If he is struggling to beat out Kareem Hunt,
yeah, that's not good.
He's getting like 40% of the snaps.
I'm shocked. You probably have better options than Pacheco. I hope you do. I know we kind of liked him, but it's stunning. It's stunning that he could be so sparsely involved.
The thesis behind Pacheco coming into the season, the reason we liked him a little bit was that he was hurt for much of last year, and then they kind of platooned the running back position. Kareem Hunt looked completely washed in terms of his speed and explosiveness. And so the assumption was eventually Pacheco was going to get back his close to bell cow role where he's playing most of the early downs. He's getting most of the goal line stuff, mixing in a little bit on third down. And then, maybe the Chiefs will mix in Brashad Smith and Kareem Hunt. And then like for the most part, Pacheco will be 60-70% of the volume in that offense. And right now, based on week 1, he's basically playing on first downs and every once in a while second down. And then he's not getting any of the third down stuff. I think Kareem Hunt got the goal line stuff. So Pacheco is getting like a third of the total volume in the backfield and none of the important stuff in terms of his passing game or the goal line stuff.
I think, look, if you go to our rankings, we have weekly rankings up at fantasyfootball.theringer.com, and you can see our week 2 running back rankings. We have Pacheco as our running back 34, which honestly feels right. Like we have him behind guys like Nick Chubb, Tyrone Tracy, both running backs on the Vikings. And I agree with that. We have him kind of right near like RJ Harvey and Dylan Sampson. I would honestly even consider starting both of them over Isaiah Pacheco this week.
Yeah. And if Pacheco gets a bunch of carries and looks better, that's a good problem. But until then, I kind of need to see it, honestly.
Right.
All right. I want to look at the early. So it's a weird window this week. So the Eagles Chiefs, there's only 3 late games, I believe, in the late window, 4 p.m. Eastern, which is 1 Pacific. There's Eagles Chiefs and there's like 2 shitty games. There's like, I think 9 games at 1 p.m. Eastern, the early window, so we could just go through those. But I think the most interesting one to me by far is Lions-Bears, where Detroit's favored by a little under a touchdown. This is a crazy narrative game because on one hand, you have Ben Johnson, the Bears head coach, returning against Detroit, where obviously he was the offensive coordinator for years and years. And the Lions offense sucked without Ben Johnson. Lions literally went 49 games straight with scoring a touchdown and then did not score a touchdown in their first game without Ben Johnson.
The Lions averaged 3.8 yards per play in week 1, which was their fewest since 2020.
It's just the offense was horrific. And then the flip side, though, is that Caleb Williams is coming off the Monday Night Football game where one of the more divisive performances I've seen from a quarterback in a long time. I think people are still trying to argue. I think we're still arguing. I actually want to revisit this for a second. DK, did Caleb Williams play well on Monday Night Football? Yes or no?
Oh, hell. We're doing this?
We're going to start this again?
We haven't agreed. The 3 of us just kept arguing about it within 24 hours.
I think Heifetz and I have agreed that he did not play well.
What do you
guys
think,
have agreed that? I think the context...
I'm not saying anything. I'm not revealing my thoughts.
The context of compared to some of the big hiccups that he had last year where he was taking 1 million sacks, holding on the football, doing that kind of thing, he was improved from what we saw last year. But I mean, if you look at there's videos going around of like all his overthrows, and it was pretty atrocious. Like some of those throws were really,
relative
really off.
to shit, dirt tastes pretty good, I guess. But
Kurt Warner went on the record
card.
saying, "I'm just gonna bring Kurt Warner into this." Who in Heifetz said
oh,
this in our
the one
text
time Kurt Warner has ever said something you agree with, you're like, let's bring up Kurt Warner.
No, that's not true. Though it's not that I don't agree with him. He's never said anything nice about a young quarterback ever. Is the thing.
No, that's
and
true.
he was like, Caleb Williams played pretty well in this game. Obviously, there were some bad throws in there, but overall played pretty well. I'm like, if Kurt Warner is defending him, that's got to mean something.
Look, I'm not a player. I can't comment, but in my eyes, he played poorly. He missed a lot of open guys, which is bad.
Well, it's so funny because
which is bad.
But it's true though, in that I think it's weird because it was just such an incredibly. It's almost like political. It was crazy extreme on both sides. It was like Caleb Williams, after holding the ball as much as any quarterback like ever held the ball in the NFL last year, and that's how he ended up with all these sacks. Started the game 10 for 10. Like he got the ball out, 10 completions on his first 10 passes, and was so much better. And again, part of it's the opening script of the game, but he was so much better about, you know what, like, I'm going to throw the ball. And it was clear like Ben Johnson drilled this into his head. Even a couple times where he missed, he probably had Roma Duzzi for a touchdown on a post in the first drive of the game, checked it down, whatever. The whole thing was get the ball to your hands. Undeniably an improvement. The athleticism, the off-script throws, the running, I think was reminders of physically why Caleb Williams was the number one pick in the draft, which just wasn't present last year. Like I think Caleb Williams demonstrated athleticism that reminded you like, oh yeah, this guy's pretty talented. He also had some of the most erratic throws anyone had all week. I mean, he literally led the NFL in off-target percentage last week, which is not a perfect stat, but match the eye test. So it's weird to see someone undeniably improve, but also when they were off, were more off than anybody, which is just a funny combination.
Mm-hmm. Not dissimilar to Anthony Richardson at times, where there are moments where you think this might be the best quarterback I've ever seen, one of the most physically gifted quarterbacks I've ever seen. And there's other times where you're like, I think I could have hit that throw.
We need a new game, which is every time Caleb does literally anything, we have to do what if Bo Nix did that, and what if Bo Nix did anything, we have to do what if Caleb Williams did that. Literally, like what if Bo Nix did what he did on Monday night?
So I don't know how you guys feel, but I think this game means way more to the Lions and Dan Campbell than it does to the Bears and Ben Johnson. I think
that's
Dan
100% correct.
If Dan, I mean, he is already pissed this week getting asked questions about, why was your offense not as good? And he was already getting prickly and defensive about that. If they lose to the Bears at home and they lose to Ben Johnson at home and their offense sucks again, Campbell loses the narrative. Like he lost. It's over.
If one of these teams loses 40-6, like if the Lions win 40-6, the Bears is like, that's bad, but this season, whatever, it's still about Caleb. Yeah. If the Bears come out and rock the Lions defense and the Lions can't move the ball, that is, I mean, they need to, I don't know. It's going to be a crazy emotional game for everyone involved. And here, the one thing I'll say though, I don't want to hear shit about people being like, well, Ben Johnson went to a division rival for the coaching job or whatever. I don't want to hear that. Ben Johnson turned down head coaching jobs multiple years in a row to stay with Detroit, including last year where he could have gone to Washington, could have gone to all these things. And he like in part wanted to stay and try to win a Super Bowl in Detroit because he thought it was. So anyway, I don't, the bad blood or whatever, staying in the division is ridiculous to me.
I want real quick though on this game, I think we're going to be able to see pretty early in the game whether the Lions offense is really in trouble. Like, because after 1 week, you don't really know what to make of anything. Like, obviously, the Lions were facing a very tough defense in Green Bay, and maybe Green Bay's offense, or maybe Green Bay's defense is just straight up the best defense in the NFL this year. That would not be super surprising as we go along. But the Lions, it's important because the Lions' identity is centered around the ability to run. John Morton even came out, I think today, which today's Thursday, and said something like, we couldn't run, but these are easy fixes and we'll get them fixed, or something like that, which is kind of, that's probably not the best thing to say.
Classic J-Mo.
But last week, so in 2024, when the Lions were one of the most fun offenses to watch straight up, they had 51% rushing success rate and averaged 1.7 yards before contact per rush. So both of those were top 7. Last week, 36% rushing success rate, which was like 27th, almost dead last. And they averaged negative yards per contact per rush in week 1. So they were getting hit in the backfield on average. So The Bears defense, I think, looked pretty good for at least 3 quarters last week. And, we were talking during the game, and I was like, I don't know whether I should think the Bears defense is really good or the Vikings just suck on offense this year. Obviously, the Vikings turned around in the fourth quarter, but I thought the Bears defense was pretty good. So this is going to be a really fascinating matchup, especially in the run game, I think, because if the Lions can't run again, then I'm starting to actually get kind of worried about them.
I think the Lions need to win this game by 2 scores or more. They can't even, if they win this game 21-17, I honestly don't think that's enough. They need to score over 30 points in this game, and they need to win by 2 scores in order for Dan Campbell to get this Ben Johnson ghost out of his house.
Yeah, he was getting kind of like prickly in the pressers.
I mean, I get it. You don't want people just assigning all of the success of your team to some offensive coordinator who's then left. So fascinating.
Yeah, the fear is Ted Lasso had 3 good seasons, and the fear is Dan Campbell also will have 3 good seasons, and that is what it is.
I do think one other fantasy thing about this game is I think we learned on Monday Night Football who what the Chicago backfield situation is, and it's just DeAndre Swift.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if Roschon Johnson missed the game, and so he would have had a larger role. But like Swift did everything. Did Kyle? God, how do you say his last name?
Manungai.
Did he have 1 touch in the entire game?
Yeah, he had a couple.
DeAndre Swift had everything else.
DeAndre Swift had 95% of the backfield touches, which was the highest share of any running back in week 1. I don't know if DeAndre Swift is that good. He's kind of a replacement level running back, but in this, I feel like what we saw yesterday was the worst the Chicago offense is going to be, you would think. And so I think DeAndre Swift, as long as he's on the field, is going to be a solid RB2 starter this year, as long as he's healthy, I think.
And I think Moore's really DJ Moore's really playable, and Odunze is playable as well. But
yeah,
we'll see.
Nobody else.
Caleb's with the rushing. All right, let's just get to it though. Gloves off. No touching the hair or face. I want you two to fight it out. Of course. Seahawks-Steelers. My 2 beloveds right here, pitted against each other. The DK Metcalf revenge game. DK age before beauty. How are you feeling?
I think it's funny that because Craig and I think, are both a little bit cynical about this game.
You're like, the Steelers are going to win.
This is not going to be a good fight because we both believe our teams are going to lose. I don't feel good about this. I think, as I said earlier, Seahawks going east and playing in the early slate has generally speaking been bad. There's a DK Metcalf revenge game narrative, which is going to be a lot of fun. I will say the one thing that's been thrown around, my buddy Jason Puckett, who does Puck Sports here in Seattle, we were talking, and he thinks that the Seahawks should bait DK Metcalf into retaliating, which basically do like the Dennis Rodman thing and just go out, fuck with him the entire game, see how long it takes him to like retaliate, throw a punch, do whatever.
100%. Because get him ejected.
This
is what the 49ers did last year, and it worked every fucking time.
What Devin Witherspoon should, when the cameras are off, spit on DK Metcalf.
Yeah, that's good.
When the cameras are off.
That's a good idea.
Strategically spit towards DK Metcalf, and then
it'll be all over his visor.
Can I tell you why I'm nervous about this game?
Yeah.
Because the Seahawks played the Niners last week, and they kicked the shit out of Brock Purdy. So much so that Brock Purdy's out for like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, they're now playing Aaron Rodgers, who already said he had a tight back in week 1. And that's part of the reason why he was not as mobile as I guess he expected himself to be, even though I thought he looked fine for 41. But Seattle had the 3rd highest pressure rate in week 1. The Jets playing the Steelers were 25th, and they still sacked Aaron Rodgers 4 times. So I am a little nervous about this young, shitty Steelers offensive line going up against this great Seahawks defense.
Yep.
So I do feel like the shine is going to wear off a little bit. I think the offense is going to come back to life, or going to come back to homeostasis, and I think the defense is going to be a lot better. And to me, this is a classic 20-17 game.
I hardcore agree. I think this is where people are going to realize the Seahawks have a crazy underrated defensive line. Leonard Williams, the Giants made such a huge mistake trading him away for very little a few years ago. Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence would be the best defensive tackle group in the NFL. Byron Murphy was a really good pick a couple years ago. I don't think he's quite as elite as people thought he might be. Jaron Reed is a crazy overqualified defensive tackle. DeMarcus Lawrence is not an elite pass rusher.
I thought he looked good.
Pretty underrated run defender, DeMarcus Lawrence is. And so he just overall, I at the risk of making myself look silly, kind of don't think the Steelers have any chance to run the ball on Seattle. So Rodgers is going to have to throw and drop back. And so there will be a lot of opportunities for weird blitzes and Rodgers to get the shit kicked out of him. And I agree. I actually do think they're going to fuck with DK Metcalf. There's always a receiver that gets famous and has a rep. This was Odell Beckham's problem, in addition to the lack of like athleticism after the or otherworldly after he had a high ankle sprain, was Odell just got so famous and everyone wanted to fuck with him. And then he had this reputation for like he would talk back. And after that Josh Norman Panthers game, that was Odell's rep, and you could get in his head. I think DK Metcalf has that rep. I really do.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I think the Seahawks know it. Yeah. And I think that's a funny thing to say, but I do think they're going to get in his head really quickly. So
yeah. To the Seahawks defense point, Craig, like I went back and actually was watching the game, the all 22 yesterday, the Seahawks defense, and man, that is a fun defense to watch. Really stout up front, and plus they do all the fun stuff where they, sprinkle the A gaps or whatever. They bring two guys down right on the line of scrimmage, so they have like 5, 6 guys, 7 guys on the line of scrimmage, and then drop a couple guys out and they rush with 4. It's just really confusing, for the offensive line and for the quarterback, and the way that they can do that and the different weapons that they have on defense is really fun. So I'm getting pretty excited about the Seahawks defense. Offensively, the Clint Kubiak game plan in week 1 was bizarre. I don't know if we talked about this already, but the Seahawks had 2 play action dropbacks in this game against the 49ers. This was a close game.
Lowest play action rate in week 1, 4%.
Yeah. This was a close game. It wasn't like game script was they were trailing and trying to catch up, so like therefore they can't run play action. It was just like they didn't do play action for some reason, even though Sam Darnold is by far his best when he's doing play action and throwing deep. That's what he's like. That's what he loves to do. That's what he did a ton in Minnesota. And I don't know, like to me that's very strange. They didn't use much motion, and it was like there was a presser afterwards where Mike McDonald, he appeared to be very perturbed with his offensive coordinator once again. So it's like same old shit as last year where I'm like, God damn it. Can we just like have a smart game plan on offense? I don't know. Where did the offense that we saw in preseason go?
Play action rate of 4% is tough because 4% is basically like literally meets the definition of a statistical anomaly.
They did 2 and both of the play action plays worked well. Like the first one I think was like a deep shot to JSN, and the second one I believe he just scrambled for like a solid gain.
Meanwhile,
just do that more. What is wrong with you?
Meanwhile, the Steelers were 4th in play action rate last week, 33%, which is the highest Rodgers has been involved in years. And I do think for fantasy, you're playing DK Metcalf on the Steelers. Everyone after that is kind of like iffy. I think Calvin Austin is somebody that he is the number 2 wide receiver on the team, and I think that was up for debate who that was going to be. I think Calvin Austin's pretty good. Calvin Austin, I actually think a lot of the players on the Steelers are a good fit with Arthur Smith, because Arthur Smith is really good at getting guys yards after the catch. And DK Metcalf and Calvin Austin and Jonnu Smith, the whole team is kind of a sneaky yards after the catch kind of pass catching group. And it's a big difference in how, just based on this one game, how the Steelers have used DK Metcalf versus how Seattle did, where Seattle was basically throwing him deep balls, and his yards per target was the lowest it's basically ever been already with the Steelers. And I think that's very interesting that they are actually trying to get this big, fast guy the ball actually as quickly as possible and as early as possible so that he can get moving like a runaway train. And so I am excited about that. And I do think that Rodgers and Arthur Smith have blended nicely in that regard to get the ball out quick and get the ball in these guys' hands who can run after the catch.
So who do you think is going to win?
I think the Seahawks are going to win handily.
You think they're going to win?
I do.
Oh, I'm worried.
I think there's a tremendous trend. There's a look. If JJ, I will never discount the chances of TJ Watt having a game-ending strip sack on Sam Darnold. There's just a tremendous mismatch to me on the trenches.
I think this feels like 24-17 Seattle to me.
All right.
That's just my feeling, DK, can you play Cooper Kupp in fantasy? I'm literally asking you because I have him in my fantasy league and I'm kind of thin at receiver. Can I play Cooper Kupp?
I don't think you should, really.
Okay. He played 100% of the snaps. And he had an end zone target.
Yeah, it was a PI.
Yeah.
He dropped his only important other target, which was like a third down. It would have been a conversion. He just straight up dropped it.
He should have been thin there. Yeah.
Jackson Smith and Jigba had the largest share of any offensive player in the NFL last week. And if Cooper Kupp does nothing, aren't you going to feel stupid and hate yourself?
Yeah, but JSN had like a 70% target rate. That's obviously not going to happen.
Going to happen again.
That's the kind of thing you say won't happen again, and then it happens again.
70%?
Craig, you can risk it.
70 is a lot, but no.
I think it's risky. I think they're going to try and get the tight
do it.
ends
Go
more
ahead,
involved.
do it. No,
I think a bigger question, Heifetz, that a lot of people are going to have is, what do you do with Kenneth Walker in this game?
You start them both.
You have to figure out whether you want to start Charbonnet. I actually think I ranked Charbonnet just slightly ahead of Kenneth Walker this week, just because I'm not sure exactly how this is going to shake out. Obviously, I was a big Kenneth Walker supporter before the season, but Charbonnet they're not only rotating drives where they're both getting early down looks, and then Charbonnet is kind of like the third down, 2-minute and goal line guy. So he's getting more of the valuable touches. So it's not looking good right now for Kenneth Walker, though that could change going forward. I don't know.
Why'd you laugh at that?
I laugh because those are just all the plays where you get points, plays where you can catch passes and score touchdowns. So that's it just was funny. Yeah, I agree. I think you can play Ken Walker, but like if he doesn't do well this week, that's concerning.
You play them both, I think.
The next game here, Giants are playing Cowboys. Dallas is favored by 4.5. I hate the Cowboys. I hate the Giants. I hate myself. Quick fun fact. I want to make you guys guess. Last 16 games between Cowboys and Giants, what do you think the Cowboys' record is? The last 16 games versus the Giants.
Ooh, good question. I'm going to say 14-2.
DK?
8-8. I don't know.
No, it's 15-1. The Cowboys
the other way.
This is like the most of all the. I know the Giants are futile and everything, but actually somehow the most underrated part. The Cowboys are 15-1 in the last 16 games. I think the Eagles are like 18-2, and one of the two they tried to lose on purpose, and they failed. Like literally they tried. The dominance is under.
To be clear, they didn't lose on purpose. They tried to lose on purpose, but they were unsuccessful at that.
Yes. Which even when anyway, the point being, so the Cowboys, I just hard to overstate how little confidence they have, which is funny because you look at Dallas, everything about Dallas's defense should be a mess. Micah Parsons has been traded. They took some of the Micah Parsons money they had earmarked and they gave it to Deron Bland, who's their cornerback. Deron Bland is already hurt again. Trevon Diggs, one of their other talented cornerbacks, is already like kind of not 100%. Really weird situation. He had a knee injury a couple years ago. They try to fine him for not rehabbing at the facility. Clearly doesn't look 100% Trevon Diggs. They drafted Siobhan Revel, a cornerback out of, I believe, East Carolina, who had a full knee reconstruction last year, not healthy, like had a setback. Like none of the Dallas Cowboys cornerbacks are healthy. They don't have Micah Parsons. Guess what? It will be so funny when Russell Wilson is still completely unable to move the football against the Dallas defense that is just already withered by week 2. And that's exactly what's going to happen, is Russ is not going to be able to move the ball. The Giants offense is going to look inept. Malik Neighbors, who honestly is every week he gets angry. I like him even more. He said this week he has NBF. He says he has natural bitch face. I love that. I love that he looks angry on the sideline.
I've never heard like he fucking NBF. Cares. Usually it's resting.
Yeah, I know. He said it's RBF. It's resting bitch face.
Same but
yeah, same. Yeah. But like, I know I'm kind of ranty now, but like, I fucking hate the Giants. I've seen this game 1,000 times. Like, a hero with 1,000 faces. This is the game with 1,000 faces. Like, I don't know how the game's going to go. I just know the Giants are going to lose, and I'm mad about it. And like, play the league neighbors and bench everyone else, and then fucking bench Russell Wilson if the Giants start 0-2.
How did the defensive line look in week 1 to you? For the
Not
Giants?
Good enough. I mean, look, you're counting on a rookie. Like, I still, it's so funny to me that the Giants, literally, Dave Gettleman, the only trade down Dave Gettleman ever did in his entire 40-year career was trading out of Micah Parsons. That was the only trade Dave Gettleman ever did down. And it's so funny that years later, they get Abdul Carter, who's like a Micah Parsons clone. I still think Abdul Carter is kind of going to be like Micah Parsons. But you kind of can't expect him to be that like immediately. But it wasn't difference making enough. And the problem is the Giants cornerbacks are ass. Like Cordell Flott's good, but like, well, good. I mean, it's all relative. But like Deonte Banks is, I continue to think even if he was a second round pick, would have been benched by now, but he's a first round pick for Joe Shane and Brian Daboll on the hot seat. They don't want to admit that they failed a first round pick when you already have Kayvon Thibodeau's disappointing. And then you already have Evan Neal's a failure. So you kind of can't admit defeat on Deonte Banks. But anyway, sorry. I'm so mad. Tyler Newton's good. The secondary hopefully can gel. With the safeties could be solid. But Micah McFadden's her. I feel like such an idiot for believing that this team could be good for any amount of time. But I want to just stress that you should play Dak Prescott, Javonte Williams, George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
Because honestly, the Cowboys are going to fucking rock the Giants because the Cowboys always rock the Giants. No one gives a shit about the Giants. I will just say one last thing. We talked to this on Sunday. It's worth repeating. The Giants have not scored a touchdown in a season opener 3 straight seasons. Literally, that has not happened since the Detroit Lions literally left to fight in World War II in the early 1940s. What the fuck is Brian Dable's excuse? The 40s Lions were like, we're going to go kill some Nazis. What the fuck is Brian Dable's excuse for having 9 months to score a touchdown 3 times in a row and failing? What the fuck? We can move.
That was Cloyce on those teams or no? He was a little bit later.
It's before Cloyce. It's a pre-Cloyce stat. It's like a
Cloyce
decade before Cloyce box.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Cloyce ended the streak. Fuck, man. Anyway. Okay.
Dude,
Rams Titans.
Every time I pull up Cloyce's Wikipedia, dude, he was a fucking horse. 6'4", 220.
Dude, yeah.
Cloyce box. For those, can you explain to the people who are listening, maybe since Cloyce, what we're talking about with Cloyce box?
Well, he's a man who
our
played
favorite
football.
player ever.
He's a favorite player ever. He played for the Lions in the 1950s. His real name is Cloyce Kennedy Box.
He married Fern.
He married Fern Box.
Fern Box.
His position was end.
His brother's name was Boyce.
He fought in the Korean War.
He fought in World War II, right, too?
He fought in World War II and the Korean War, I believe.
And then he became a billionaire because he started some concrete company.
Yes, and then he basically became like a construction mogul.
One of the great Americans.
He became president of the Oklahoma Cement Company. What a legend.
Chairman of the Board of Regents for West Texas State University and the Texas Board of Penal Corrections. Crazy guys.
Cloyce.
And the Cloyce Box Ranch was in North Dallas 40. Or just Dallas. This TV show Dallas is managed.
The Dallas. Yeah,
anyway,
Dallas.
Shout out Cloyce Box.
And he played halfback as well as end. He did everything.
Shout out Cloyce Box.
The Ringer Fantasy Football Show is brought to you by FanDuel. NFL Sunday is coming. You've got your crew, your couch, your snacks, your slate, and FanDuel's coming in with something extra. This isn't just another NFL Sunday. It's your chance to place that perfect parlay or hit your go-to player prop. And now we're making it even better because this week, FanDuel's bringing the bonus. That's right. Right now, all customers get a 50% profit boost on any NFL bet. We are doing our own competition at The Ringer, making bets against other podcasts, other NFL shows. It's called Ringer 107. I'm going to give you a little sneak preview of one of our 5 bets this week. We're going to go with the Eagles over the Chiefs. We're taking the spread. The last time these two teams played, the Eagles were up 34-0 in this game. So the spread is only 1.5 right now. We feel very comfortable with that. The Chiefs don't have Xavier Worthy. They don't have Rashee Rice. They did not look good in week 1. We love the Eagles. However you play your game, FanDuel's got your back with something extra in your account because that's what Sundays should feel like. So visit FanDuel.com/RingerFantasy to download the app and get in on the action before kickoff. Must be 21 plus and present in select states or 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut.
Rams Titans. Another weird game because Cam Ward statistically was just disgusting last week, but he kind of looked all right at moments. But the Titans defensive line looked awesome. And the Rams offensive line's really banged up. Both their guards have an ankle sprain. Rob Havenstein didn't practice on Wednesday. I'm not sure if he practiced today. I mean, Wednesday, a lot of veterans don't practice anyway, but Jeffrey Simmons looked quietly like one of the better players in the entire NFL last week at the defensive tackle for Tennessee. And I wouldn't want both my guards to be a little gimpy facing Jeff Simmons this week. So I'm not sitting here saying the Titans are going to win this game, but I don't know, man. I kind of think the Titans offense could be a lot better this week than they were against Denver, right, DK?
You were saying you were a little bit into the Titans this week because the offensive line for the for the Rams is so beaten up. I'm a little worried about the offensive line, or basically just Cam Ward having to face off against the Rams defensive line. So I'm a little bit worried that this game is just going to be super ugly, kind of like the Texans Rams was last week. Cam Ward, after having to face Denver's defense, now he gets a Rams defense that is really, really good. Cam Ward was pressured on 53% of snaps last week, which was tops in the NFL.
How's that? Is that good?
That's tough. It's tough. It's tough to do anything.
Well, it's funny though, DK, because you're also a draft guru here at the Ringer, and I feel like Cam Ward has a lot of Matt Stafford in his game. Maybe not necessarily the crazy one of one arm talent, but the mentality of I could do anything. Like Matt Stafford, one of the reasons he feeds his number one receiver so much is Matt Stafford isn't like he's covered. Matt Stafford's like, oh, I could fit it in that impossibly small.
He's open
window.
enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Cam Ward has that same mentality, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's that's to his detriment at times. Obviously, like that's one of the kind of reasons he was all over the place in terms of people's evaluation on him. I don't know. How are you guys leaning on this? Heifetz, you're a little bit in the Titans on this. Craig, where do you land? Because I
think to be clear, I think the Rams are going to win the game.
Yeah.
I think Cam Ward's getting a tough opening slate. Starting out with Denver on the road. Now he's playing the Rams. Next week he plays the Colts, who,
Daniel Jones, unstoppable, runaway free agent. Can't beat Daniel Jones.
And then they go play the Titans on the road with the hard Texans. They play the Texans on the road, which is another difficult defense. So I think things are going to be a little rough for Cam Ward for a month. But
he played the Broncos and the reigning defensive player of the year, and then Sean McVay's Rams.
Yeah. So I don't know though. I still think he's another divisive guy who's had there's been a lot of discussions about him this week, whether or not he played well or not. It's funny, we have more data and, analysis than ever, and yet we still can't decide on if somebody played well or not.
We could decide. Cam Ward, he played terribly. Like, that's objective.
I don't know.
It's fine. He played terribly. But within the sliding scale of, it was his debut against the Broncos, who are considered to have probably the best defense in the NFL, have the reigning defensive player, the best secondary, the best cornerbacks. He should have played terribly. I think within the terrible performance, you're saying it's like, every happy family is the same. Every miserable family is different. Every good performance is kind of similar. Every terrible performance is kind of interesting. And I think the type of bad that Cam Ward did was, to me, not bad, because mentally I think he kind of stayed in the game and was not rattled by what was going on. He just was overwhelmed by a crazy better unit. But mentally, he had a chance to win. And he, honestly, if Calvin Ridley and Chico Okonkwo catch some balls, Titans might have won that game.
I agree. I think
he also shouldn't have ran backward in field goal position. That was probably a bad idea. But you know what?
I think the Rams often play up and down to their competition. Like the Rams, I think were the team that could have beaten the Eagles to go to the Super Bowl last year. And yet the Rams are also the type of team where they're on the road in Jacksonville and it's 13-10 in the fourth quarter. I think this game is going to be closer than people expect.
The best moment of Anthony Richardson's entire career ended up being a comeback win versus the Rams, where the Rams were up 20-0. And then the
Rams do this a lot.
Went to overtime. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, you still play Puka Nacua, you play Devontae, you play Kyron, you play everyone.
The Rams lost to the Dolphins last year. The Rams barely beat the Raiders by 5 last year. The Rams barely beat the Jets last year.
I think you still play Tony Pollard, you still play Calvin Ridley, you play all the Rams you were going to play. I don't think it changes anything.
And I would recommend holding on to, if you're in a 12 or 14 team league, I think Alec Eilman, or the receiver for Tennessee, I think you should hold on to him. I like him.
Okay. Jaguars-Bengals.
I have no read on this game. No read.
I have a read. If the Bengals start 0-2 again, even though Joe Burrow and everyone played in the preseason, it'd be really funny. It would be really funny if I'm here at this bachelor party in Michigan, went to lunch, ended up being around a bunch of Bengals fans, and we actually were joking about how funny it would be if the Bengals lost to the Jaguars in week 2.
So what you think that the Bengals are not going to show up again?
No, they better fucking show up. I'm saying this is a hype. The Bengals have started, how many years in a row has Joe Burrow started 0-2? How many years can they do this? I like the Bengals. The league is more fun when the Bengals are in contention, but holy shit, the Bengals should beat the shit out of the Jaguars. But that's the problem. Is I don't know if they can.
Yeah. I do think fantasy-wise, it's you're obviously playing Burrow, Chase, and Higgins, even though they all disappointed you week 1.
Chase
you're
Brown,
playing Chase Brown.
You play everyone
on the
on
other side of the ball.
Yeah.
You're playing Brian Thomas. Are you playing Travis Hunter? Liam Cohen said he's going to play more on defense this week, which I don't
probably
know if I
smart.
believe a lot of
Honestly, probably, yeah. It's because it's T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. It's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
For him to play on defense.
Are you starting him in fantasy?
No, because there's Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I really wouldn't in fantasy this week. If they said he's going to play more on defense, I don't like that.
What if he caught that 50-yard pass that was 1 inch away from a 50-yard touchdown last week? Then would you have started him
then
this
play
week?
him, sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Because then he would have had like 7 catches, 100 yards, and a touchdown, and everybody would have freaked out.
But it was less cool. Yeah, you're right. You can play it. I guess you probably should play Travis Hunter. I guess I'm going back both sides of my mouth. The Bengals defense sucks.
Terrible.
Having said that, the Panthers defense sucks enough that it should make up for the fact that it's week 1, and it didn't last week. But I guess here's what's funny about the Jaguars. I know it's week 1 and week 2, and I'm the one who said at the beginning of the show that preseason kind of extends to the first 2 weeks. Unfortunately for Jacksonville, the worst 2 defenses they're going to face all year are probably Carolina and Cincinnati in the first 2 weeks. And so it will just, I don't know if it's going to be hard to trust Jacksonville going forward, but if they can't do these 2 games, it's just so annoying. Like, it's annoying to trust Jacksonville going forward if they can't get it done.
Can I ask a kind of annoying question? And this is a real, like, I'm bitching about something I probably shouldn't, but
do it.
Travis Hunter played like 6 defensive snaps yesterday or last week or something, right? Not many. And now Liam Cohen's like, oh, he's going to play more defense this week. And so Heifetz, naturally, your inclination is to be like, okay, well, if he's going to play more defense, maybe he plays less offense. I don't want to do that. I want to play him in weeks where he's going to play more offense. Wasn't the whole thing that he does both?
That was a lot.
Why isn't he doing both? I know it's early. It's only week 2, but is it a zero-sum game? Can he only play 40 snaps? You have to choose which offenses and defense he plays? I thought he's playing both. I thought that's why you picked him second and you traded a first-rounder next year for him, is because he's 2 players.
I don't. Well, I mean, this has never happened before, and we'll see what the plan is. And I think it is interesting to see what the plan is for him. I will say, you guys know that before the draft, I love Travis Hunter as much as I loved any prospect ever. Even I was a little curious about a trade where you're kind of paid a price where he better play both spots, not could. Like, to me, the whole point of Travis Hunter was, worst case, he will have an NFL role as an NFL receiver, even if he can't do both. But the Jaguars paid like they got 2 players. Like, the Browns charged them for 2 spots.
You're expecting like a star on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, so well, it's like if you're only getting 75% of the receiver and 50% of the corner, you're getting neither.
And it's been 1 week, maybe Travis Hunter. And again, he should be awesome this week because
that's why I said
sucks.
This is annoying.
It's been 1 week.
I said,
but to your point, I agree with what you're saying though, because to me, my thing with Travis Hunter was basically, in a nutshell, we talk about the highest end ceiling outcome for every fucking player in the draft, except the guy that had the highest end outcome I've ever seen from a non-quarterback. So I'm like, why are we not talking about this guy's outcome? To me, there's a difference between that and what the Jaguars did, which is the Jaguars paid as if he definitely could have a great shot at doing this thing that's never been done before. I was excited that he could do something that had never been done before, and I believed he could. But the Jaguars kind of paid a price with the trade and giving up future first, where it's like, if he does it, it's kind of fucking a huge mistake to just trade up to take a receiver when there's like Emeka Buka went 20 picks later.
I don't doubt that physically he's capable of playing both. I think there's not enough hours in the week. Liam Cohen had an interesting quote after the Jags game, after they beat the Panthers, and somebody asked him, why did Travis Hunter only play 6 defensive snaps? And Liam Cohen's answer was basically that there wasn't enough time. They were complicated schemes, and getting Travis Hunter in there, it just didn't really work out. And kind of like, we used him when we could, but it was too complicated to kind of fit him in there. And my thinking with that is like, well, you had all summer to plan for that. Now
I think it's going to be hard.
Days.
I think realistically, it might be hard for him to do this until next year. Like, if this week happens and it's, if we see another few weeks and it's not happening, I still think it could happen, but it might just have to be a second year and beyond, because it's probably, maybe it's unrealistic to expect him to do it immediately.
Right. And that's why I feel bad even posing this question, because I should probably once again just wait 2 months and we'll see. But right now I'm like, what the fuck? He can't play both.
Who wants to wait?
I thought that was his whole thing.
Yeah. I just also, Joe Burrow again, do you know what Joe Burrow's winning percentage in his career is the first 2 weeks of the season?
25%.
Yeah, I was going to say like 30.
pretty good. Yes, 22%.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well done. And his winning percentage after week 2 is like almost 70%. So he's like a little below like Tom Brady.
I kind of like
basically
the Bengals
after
in
week
this
2,
one.
he's right there with Josh Allen. But before week 2, he's right there with like fucking Nathan Peterman, which is funny. So I don't know. Bengals should
I like the Bengals in this one.
Let's take a quick break to talk about HubSpot. This episode is brought to you by HubSpot. Did you know that most businesses only use 20% of their data? That's like leaving most of your fantasy roster on the bench or drafting 1/5 of a team. Point is, it's going to be pretty hard to win unless you have HubSpot. Their customer platform gives you access to the data you need to grow your business. The insights trapped in emails, call logs, transcripts, because when you know more, you grow more. Visit HubSpot.com today. Browns, Ravens. Ravens are favored by 11.5. I mean, this is just, the Ravens should crush them.
The Ravens better just kick the shit out of the Browns.
Yeah, you're playing Lamar, you're playing Derrick Henry, you're playing Zay Flowers. I think you should play Mark Andrews. I still really believe you play Mark Andrews. Browns, it's weirder. I hate Jerry.
Joe Flacco revenge game.
It is the Joe Flacco revenge game. I think it's fun. You know what's so funny?
Homecoming,
At what point, I don't think I'm as much of a grudge holder as most people. If I have one skill, sometimes I can be water, like water off a duck. Is that the phrase?
Water under the bridge?
Water under the bridge? Yeah, whatever.
It's water under the bridge refers to like it's in the past.
How good does Lamar Jackson have to be for Joe Flacco to acknowledge that was a great decision to fire him and hire Lamar Jackson? Like, do you think Joe Flacco actually looks and is like, that should be me?
That's like asking, it's like if your like girlfriend breaks up with you and gets married to like the richest, handsomest guy in the world, you're like, wow. Like, are you going to admit it? You're going to be like, no, fuck him.
That's like Chris Pratt.
I wanted the Super Bowl. Yeah, exactly. Where's Lamar's Super Bowl?
Chris Pratt was dating Anna Faris, and Anna Faris was way more famous than Chris Pratt. And then Chris Pratt became a Marvel superhero, and then he left Anna Faris, and now he's married to a Schwarzenegger.
Right.
I didn't know that story, but yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about, I guess.
Kind of.
Also, you know what doesn't get talked about enough? That Arnold became the governor of California because he was in movies. It's kind of funny.
And he was reelected.
It was reelected. Yeah,
it's a funny thing.
Served 8
before
years.
my time.
There's a good Netflix doc about.
Yeah,
him,
I think you have to play Njoku.
Do you?
I think you have to play Njoku this week.
I don't think you have
weird.
to.
Well, I guess you don't.
I don't think you have to. I think he, to me, is the most questionable player on the Browns to play right now. Like, I'm playing Sampson for sure because he's going to catch a bunch of passes. Like Judy and Tillman, it just depends on who you have on your team. Those guys are more like flex options for sure.
Tight end too. Who would you play Dallas Goedert over? Where I guess if he's hurt, would you play Jake Ferguson over David Njoku?
The question is Harold Fannin just going to keep taking all of Njoku's plays? Because that was what happened in week 1.
But if you took David Njoku and you have him on your team,
yeah,
this isn't hypothetical. It's very clear what your options are. Like, would you play this week Hunter Henry over David Njoku?
Because you got to think about the guys that you could add off of waivers after you've drafted
like
David
Brenton
Njoku,
Strange.
you're upset.
I think Brenton Strange is fine. Brenton Strange on the Jags, the Browns. The Jags are playing the Bengals. I think Brenton Strange is a really good option at tight end because, again, Logan Wilson, Bengals linebacker, got hurt. Harold Fannin had all his catches against the Bengals. I think Brenton Strange is a really viable option. I think Juwan Johnson for the Saints, things you guys said on Monday about it, Juwan Johnson's just going to start. He played 99% of snaps for the Saints. Juwan Johnson, you could do it. If those guys are gone, I'm like, are you going to play Zach Ertz over David Njoku?
DK, if you could add Kyle Pitts off of the waiver wire, because a lot of people did not draft Kyle Pitts. Are you playing Kyle Pitts over Njoku?
Yes, for sure.
Are you playing,
especially with Drake? What?
Are you playing Zach Ertz over David Njoku?
No,
I think it's a discussion, but probably not in this case.
Well, I guess it's Thursday Night Football, so
I think it's just funny because you're just like, you got to play him. I'm like, well, you don't have to. There's a lot of guys that I would play over Njoku. He's the least. I'm most
trying to figure out who
Njoku though.
Ertz is a bad example because he already played by the time people are listening to this. What about but because Colston Loveland for the Bears?
No.
I know, but I'm saying, look at our rankings. It's like really hard. It's weird. When I say you have to play him, I'm like,
to be clear, I'm bristling because you're saying you have to play David Njoku, and I'm saying no, you do not have to.
No,
if you have fucking shitty options, you don't. Then yes,
would you play Harold Fannin
to take him? I would play Harold Fannin over Njoku. Yeah.
I worry that we're falling into week one overreaction territory and David Njoku will just be fine.
Yeah, there's definitely a chance that we get Isaiah Likely for the second straight year. I think that's true. However, the evidence would point to that's not what's true. Like, they utilized him. He led the team in targets. And again, this is a Joe Flacco offense where he loves checking the ball down. He loves getting the ball out underneath to his guys. They have good chemistry together when plays break down. And add in that he was like the number one talk of the town in like training camp and everything. I'm like, it just seems like they have a real plan for this guy. He's essentially their wide receiver 3.
And Harold Fannin, again, can't be said enough.
There is a chance we just get Isaiah Likely for the second straight year. I understand that. That's fine. Maybe it does happen. But this feels more real to me than the Isaiah Likely thing did. And
it can't be said enough. Harold Fannin literally led all players in college football last year in yards. Like, it can't be like that. And is catches. A huge part of this. I will say, in catches, this is. I think we also needed, we're saying don't overreact to week one. We need to not overreact to this week either for this Browns game because they're playing the Ravens. The Ravens defense is nothing like the Bengals defense. It's the polar opposite. Everyone on the Ravens defense is talented. Kyle Hamilton's like the best safety. They have like Roquan Smith. If Harold Fannin doesn't do anything this week, that doesn't mean anything to me. Like, we need to see
one player we have not talked about that's in this game. We did not talk about him on Sunday. Mark Andrews had 1 catch for 5 yards last week in a game that featured 81 points. And
how many plays
I don't know if you remember last year, he was Mr. Burn Book for us and was basically droppable because he had 2 games, I think, with 0 points in the first month of last year. He had 1 catch for 5 yards. DK, do you have to start Mark Andrews?
No. He was
when you say have to, who are your options that you're not? Are there 10 tight ends you'd play over Mark Andrews?
Would you start Harold Fannin over Mark Andrews?
I look, that's not what it is in our rankings. No. So no, probably not. But am I confident in Mark Andrews? Not even remotely. And I'm excited about Fannin. Let me put it that way.
Because I think a lot of people are probably pissed at Mark Andrews for doing the same thing again this year.
What is it? Heifetz says the fiduciary duty to say you should probably start Mark Andrews because he has a long history of doing this, of being good and being a big part of their offense and being good in the red zone. However, I mean, you guys, I think, remember when we did Bill's pod, Mark Andrews was like, I'm just like not doing not drafting. He's off my list. I'm not drafting him in any situation. And I'm really glad that I did that right now anyway.
I think most people only give players 2 weeks. And I think if Mark Andrews lays another egg against the Browns, it's going to be over. Not saying it should be, but I think that's how
that's definitely true that most people give players 2 weeks, 3 at most. Okay. Next game here, Bills-Jets. Kind of wonder if the Jets are going to be able to run in the Bills. I think I'm as curious to see this as anything out of like week one. The Jets running game looks so good.
They're like the mini Ravens, and the Ravens ran all over the Bills. I wouldn't be shocked if the Jets had similar levels of success. Wouldn't you?
Who do you think's more shocked to hear that? The Jets fans being called mini Ravens or Ravens fans hearing the Jets called mini Ravens?
I don't mean mini Ravens in any way other than yards per carry. But
it's interesting that Justin Fields and Breece Hall creating. Honestly, it's funny because Lamar and Derrick Henry's like thunder lightning, but like Fields is almost the thunder. I guess he's faster. But like Breece Hall's the lightning, but the idea that read option behind a talented offensive line is opening up the offense. And I'm curious, the Bills defensive line is very banged up. They don't have a ton of healthy, they have, who's their massive rookie defensive tackle, DK, that they're kind of relying on really early?
Deone Walker.
Yeah.
Isn't that his name?
I'm blank. Yeah. The giant guy, the guy who, like, even among NFL standards, we saw this Deone Walker at the combine and we were like, holy shit, that's a big person.
Yeah, he's like 6'8". Hold on, let me pull this up. He's 6'8" or 6'7", 331. Yeah.
That's just preposterous. But yeah, I mean, Ed Oliver's great. And after that, it's like, Joey Bosa's a run defender at this point in his career. So anyway, it's just, we'll see. But I think
this is
interesting if the Jets can run.
Because, Craig, going into last week, I would have thought the Steelers have a really good defense, right? Or at least it's pretty good. And they have a lot of very experienced veterans.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said easy.
Easy. I don't like where you're going with this. And then the Jets absolutely fucking shredded them. And Justin Fields had his best game of his career by far. He was, I think I saw this, he was the number 2 quarterback by passing grade, according to PFF, like basically no off-target throws in that game. And I was very impressed with not only just the offense and how smooth it was and the big throws that he made, but I thought he was managing the pocket really well. There's one play in my mind where he dropped back, the pressure came, he stepped up through the pocket, in 99 out of 100 times in the past, he would have just took off and ran. But he pulled up and he kept his eyes downfield, and then he like completed a big pass.
And then he threw it to Garrett Wilson, and then Jalen Ramsey said, not through.
Oh, yeah, that was that play too. But yeah. But I was very impressed with their run game, but I was also just very impressed in general with Justin Fields. And so, like, obviously, to me, the big question in this game is, was that a total fluke? Or does he kind of just turn back into a pumpkin and the guy that we've seen for the last couple of years where he's like way too slow, way too methodical, trying to get the ball out. He's late on everything. He gets sacked about 7 times. Or, is this the kind of new look offense and the new look Justin Fields that I think like we were hoping this could be? And by the way, we were talking about the Lions earlier. Tanner Engstrand. Sorry, that's a tough one.
It's a tough one.
He looks like the real deal after one game coming from the Lions.
This is why I'm nervous about the Lions. All these people who have left the Lions seem like the real deal.
Yeah. So I was very, very impressed with the Jets offense in week 1 against what I thought was a good defense. And now against the Bills, who, they've got some good players, but I don't think this is like an elite defense by any means. So this is going to be fun.
In Sunday Night Football, the Bills allowed a league high 4.6 yards before contact per attempt.
Yeah.
Think about that. Let that marinate.
Again, we need to do it in feet. What's 4.6 yards in feet?
15 feet.
You say it like that, you're like, holy shit.
That is wild, actually, to think about.
It's such a good point, Heifetz. We should just only
15 feet before contact.
Dude,
crazy.
Sometimes with golf, I get confused. Sometimes I'll even be like, oh, it's 100 yards away. I'm like, oh, that's 300 feet away.
Yeah, golf. Whenever you play golf, it's weird because when you stand on a football field,
I drove at 250 yards. I drove at 750 feet. That's a long way.
Yeah, it's crazy. And also it's funny because like you're like, oh, what is this, like an approach wedge? And you're like, that's how far a football field is. But then you're on a football field, you're like, I could never hit a golf ball over the. I don't know. 52
degree. I can hit a football field. Okay,
it's bizarre. Anyway, I don't understand how yardages work or numbers. Okay, Patriots-Dolphins. Dolphins are favored in this game. I find that very funny.
This is hilarious.
What's the worst performance that's ever happened in week 1 that led to being favored in week 1? Or week 2? Because this Dolphins team is up here of most embarrassing teams ever that were still favored the next week.
The highest panic meter or whatever among fans is got to be in Miami, right?
Has to be. I mean, we can speak firsthand. Our producer Carlos is going on rants on Twitter about how horrific this team is. He's miserable.
Dude, Tyreek Hill, this week is the 1-year anniversary of Tyreek Hill's last 30-yard catch.
Which,
among other things going on with Tyreek Hill this year.
True. If Mike McDaniel challenged the catch that Tyreek Hill made in week 1, that was over 30 yards, but I digress. I would like to make an announcement to you both heading into this game. I will be giving it a go once more with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill.
Oh my God.
I will be. I don't care.
All right.
I can talk myself into this. Can I give you my ridiculous reasoning behind this decision?
Please do.
Okay. Yeah, you drafted them and you're fucking shit out of luck. What is there to it?
That's true, yes.
You have no better options.
Basically, Tua was terrible. Tyreek and Waddle are not. I don't think Tyreek is washed. I think Jonnu Smith being gone matters. Mm-hmm. And even in the horrible limited sample size, the problem with the game in week 1 was not just that Tua was bad, but he was so bad that they never had the ball. So Tyreek Hill actually had a 27% target share in this game, which was way higher than it was last year. Jalen Waddle, 23% target share last game, which was way higher than the year before. Like, we saw that Jonnu Smith being gone is mattering. And Tyreek Hill is averaging 2.3 yards per route run, which that means nothing, but that is a very good number for a wide receiver. Meaning that when he was on the field running routes, he was producing. They just were never on the field running routes because they got boat raced. So they're playing New England.
It's a funny word.
I love that. Yeah.
I know, boat race. They're playing New England, who just let up 360 yards to Geno Smith. They're at home. I don't know.
What do we say? 306, like Geno Smith's bad.
Well,
He's better than Tua.
He is better than Tua for sure. But I'm just saying they let up 360 yards passing to not, Josh Allen, to an average quarterback, I would say.
This is the weirdest anti-rivalry. It's not a rivalry because the Patriots have dominated, or going back 20 years, have dominated the division, everything. But the Patriots have lost 8 out of their last 9 games.
They don't play well down in Miami.
It's so fucking weird.
No, New England, the worst regular season losses in the Brady Belichick era, half of them were at Miami.
Yeah, they don't play well.
Weird random games.
And I shudder to even say this, but last year Jalen Waddle had 144 yards and a touchdown versus the Patriots.
God damn it, Craig! I could hear you on Sunday screaming at this version. You're going to do the. So we need the Inception. Not Inception. God damn it! I always do the Interstellar meme of the week of Matthew McConaughey in the bookcase being like, "No, go back, don't leave."
Okay, let me hit you.
I can tell you right now on Sunday, you're banging on the bookcase, being like, "Don't start Jalen Waddle. What are you doing?"
Let me hit you with a couple more.
New England. What, they have 45 yards in the first half last week?
43. New England last week surrendered a league high 9 completions of 20 yards or more.
Ooh.
9. Last year, Tua played New England. They put up 34 points. He threw 4 touchdowns in the one game that Tua played the Pats. Look, I'm going to give it a go one more time. Like I said, week 2, and then you give up. But
Here's the thing. All right, you know what? Since you keep saying this, though, I'm going to give it a go. Who's your other option? Who's the other receiver you have?
I don't know. You want me to pull it up?
Have to play. Yeah, I want you to fucking pull it up because you keep saying it as if you have a choice.
You want me to pull it up? Okay.
I do.
Okay, here's my choice. Keenan Allen. I'm going to play Jalen Waddle over Keenan Allen.
Oh,
that's not. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
What?
Thanks. What if you had fucking Roma Dunze?
I don't have Justin Jefferson sitting on my bench. Sorry.
What if you had Roma Dunze?
I would start Waddle over Roma Dunze.
DK, would you do that?
I would probably. I'm kind of excited about Keenan Allen. I would think about starting Keenan Allen.
No, I think Craig, you're right. You should do Jalen Waddle thing because you drafted him high and you give him the 2 weeks.
And then
if not, you give him 2 weeks notice.
Yeah.
Would you play? I mean, would you play Hollywood?
Venmo him
Hollywood
$5.
Brown, Hollywood Brown, or Jalen Waddle this week? Hollywood Brown had 16 targets for 99 yards.
I would start Hollywood Brown.
It's a compelling argument. Here's my question. Serious question. If everything you just said about Jalen Waddle, and then he sucks this week, how do you play him the rest of the year? That's the question.
You don't.
Yeah. All right.
What's the problem?
This is his last chance.
You don't. I Venmo him $5. Right. Hope he pays me, and then we move on. I'm gonna start Venmoing all these athletes, however much I spent on them in my draft. If they disappoint me.
I think they get plenty of Venmo requests for all the gambling losses that people have. Don't Venmo. Don't DM players. I mean, Craig can do it, but it's fine. Okay. Don't contact players. Pats, Dolphins. Yeah, that game sucks.
Real quick.
Wait, sorry. The only one I said was Drake May. It was Drake May. So can I just put something on kind of like Craig with the Travis Hunter thing. It's too early to make a decision. Can I put something on the radar? Like, can I make a reservation for a take I want to get out later? That's too early to do now.
Yeah, sure.
If Drake May doesn't play well this week, when the fuck is Drake May going to look good?
Drake May has won 1 game.
I'm just saying, like at some point, I would like to see Drake May win football games because it's so funny because Bill Simmons kept making fun of Justin Herbert for years of like, everyone says he's good and like, when's he going to win? And I swear to God, Drake May is the new Justin Herbert. He's going to start fucking winning. Because there's no excuses. It's like Mike Vrabel is like the best coach on the market, all this stuff. This in theory is a game the Patriots should win.
Justin Herbert's fucking awesome and has been awesome the second he stepped onto a field.
I agree because Drake May is halfway between Herbert and fucking Carson Wentz. He's exactly halfway. And like he's got the improv. He's pre-injury Carson Wentz, who has now had a weird thing. He's up and down. Carson Wentz pre-injury. In my opinion, what happened to Carson Wentz was there was a personal dynamic where he didn't jive with teammates, but also wasn't the same athlete after the ACL. I think Drake May is really good. I'm just saying this should be a very winnable game for New England because, frankly, this is like there's a playbook on how to beat the Dolphins because they can't run the ball. You kind of make Tua push the ball beyond the numbers. You kind of can't do it. Like we joke about it, but the reality is Tua and again, I don't think it's Tua's fault. I think the hip injury he had in college, which no one talks about anymore because of the concussions, but Tua had the Bo Jackson hip injury and hasn't been the same deep ball thrower ever since. Tua had a deep ball rope to win the fucking college football playoff. Where's that been for his entire NFL career? I don't think it's there because of the hip injury. So, I mean, I can't prove that. I'm not a fucking doctor, but I'm just saying we keep joking about Tyreek Hill fielding deep balls when he's wide open like punts. Defenses have adjusted.
Coming back to the ball.
Back to the end zone.
Yeah. Back, and it's like defenses have adjusted. They field punts. They got gunners. No, but I'm kidding. But like the line on two is make him throw the red line, make him throw outside the hash marks. And Tyreek Hill hasn't had a 30-yard catch in a year because that's what the Bills did and everyone kind of copied it. I think Vrabel's going to do that. I don't think the Dolphins are going to run on a Mike Vrabel defense. I don't think so. Anyway, I think that New England should win this game. And if they don't, I'm just saying, kind of think it's going to be because Drake May couldn't do what fucking Daniel Jones did.
Can I make a suggestion for Drake May?
Are you
Sabrina
asking
Carpenter.
us?
Oh, she's got a Dunkin' commercial too.
Sabrina
That's
Carpenter.
wait, so the same way that Travis Kelce connected with Taylor Swift because of their pod, could we get this video in front of Sabrina Carpenter? Be like, you should date Drake May. The Dunkin' Donuts thing, that's already basically bought. Like, come on.
We
she might as
saw
well
what
be
it did
Boston.
for Herbert. Herbert is a new man.
That's good. Madison
now that
Beers and Herbert.
He's drinking the beer.
Yeah.
I believe that Drake May is engaged.
Oh, he
Well,
is
still
engaged.
time.
His 8th grade girlfriend.
You know what?
Been
That
dating
makes
his entire life.
still time.
God damn it, Craig.
Just because there's a goal.
I mean, look at Russell Wilson.
Score.
Yeah.
Did I tell you guys that when I went to, this is a flex, but when I went to, when we were in Europe, I was in Europe and I went to the Monaco Grand Prix and I wanted to go to the Monte Carlo because I figured the Saturday night Monte Carlo was like a pretty once in a lifetime experience of the weekend.
And you
Monaco
talked
Grand
your
Prix.
way into it without hesitation.
Well, you walk in, you pay money.
It's just a.
Oh, I walked into the race for free. Yes, I did get to see the race for free, but
See, I was
I went-
joking.
But the Monte Carlo.
There you go.
I don't even. That's a hotel, right?
it's the casino. It's like if gambling had a Vatican City. It's the one in James
Oh.
Bond in the.
Right. In Casino Royale. Is it not a hotel? Is it just a casino?
It's a hotel too, but the casino, I think it's a hotel, but the casino is just it really is like the Vatican. Anyway, a lot of 70-year-old men with like 18-year-old women. Women that were young enough that I don't know what to talk to them about. I have no idea what they talk about, these couples. Anyway, all that's to say.
These couples.
I'm like, okay, sure, bro. Anyway, this funny guy, we're sitting there. We can't believe the craps table isn't open. We're talking. And he's like, where's your fiance? I'm like, oh, yeah, we talked. It's like she doesn't give a shit about cars or the races, so she didn't come today. And he was like, oh, so you're engaged, not married. I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, well, still time for you then. You can just get another one. And there's like this pause. And I look at him and I look at her. And then we all just start laughing. We're like, ah!
He's like, anyway, let's go, Peppermint. We're headed out.
Caramel with a K. Anyway, Jesus. Anyway, next game. Niners Saints.
Hell yeah.
This
Mac
is bizarre.
Jones, Mac versus Rattler.
The history of Purdy's out with the toe injury is what's keeping him out, or is it the non-throwing shoulder injury?
It's
the toe injury is the issue.
He has what I read as a turf toe variant, which I don't know what that means. Is there a vaccine for that? I don't know what a turf toe variant is.
Well, just calling it a variant makes it sound like an X-Men or some shit. That's
what that means.
Variant of. That's funny. So let's get this straight. George Kittle's already on injured reserve, which again, just a reminder, doesn't mean you're out for the season anymore. It means you're out for 4 weeks. But George Kittle's out for a month or more. Juwan Jennings had a pseudo fake calf injury, but now has a real shoulder injury, right? So we don't know if Juwan Jennings is going to play. We can't confirm that right now. It's Thursday, so you'll have more information listening to this now than we do. Purdy's hurt, but the context, which maybe I'm being repetitive, but I can't get over this. Kyle Shanahan wanted Mac Jones in the 2021 draft, and they wanted to sit there and pick him when they were going to get it. And Shanahan seems to have been convinced, I think by John Lynch, to trade up and take Trey Lance, which turns out to be one of the worst trades ever because they gave up a bunch of picks to get Trey Lance, who never played for them, basically. And then the Niners lost they lost another Super Bowl, and they lost this whole window of they made all these NFC championship games, and man, one more first-round player made a difference. Anyway, it is so crazy now that Mac Jones we're actually going to see it. And I know he's a punchline, but in a world where Sam Darnold just interned for the Niners for a year and then went and won 14 games in Minnesota, I am not ruling out a Mac Jones looks actually kind of competent game this week. I think it's totally on the table in a world where Shanahan turned Brock Purdy into a guy making $250 million that Mac Jones looks fine this week. I think that's totally possible. DK, I can't tell if you're smiling at me for like the pure naivety you see it.
No. I'm smiling because you make some good points, and I'm laughing to myself because I'm like, we're gonna bet on Mac Jones, aren't we, this week? Like, what could go fucking wrong by doing that?
This motherfucker got Nick Mullins to have more yards in his first 16 games than like Andrew Luck.
I know.
Then Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. Mahomes. Yeah, Patrick was 50 touchdowns in his first season. It didn't have as many yards in his first 16 games as Nick Mullins.
I contend that one of the biggest parts of the lack of belief in Brock Purdy is not that he was the last pick in the draft or that he looks like a little shrimp out there. It's that we just think Kyle can turn anybody into a really good quarterback. I think that's like maybe 55% of it. That's like the lack of belief in
That's
Brock
such
Purdy.
A Bill Simmons percentage.
I
That
don't know,
really
I just
rubbed
threw
off
that
on you.
Yeah, congrats. You finished Bill Simmons grad school. I was actually also thinking about Bill doing that because I remember Bill had some column where he was like, sometimes I would just stare at the fact that Steve Nash won MVP trophies. And that's me I just stare at the fact that Kyle Shanahan came like 3 feet of Jimmy Garoppolo winning a fucking Super Bowl. Jimmy Garoppolo sucks.
1 yard.
1 yard.
So yeah, now I'm kind of like intrigued by this whole Mac Jones thing. I think Mac Jones is funny because just the guy, he's just such a loose cannon type of guy.
McCorkle,
man. Remember when he was with the Patriots, he's quickly developed a reputation for being like a bitch. Like he would just kick guys. He'd like he would like cleat guys all the time.
Yeah,
and like
dirty.
He had Grayson Allen vibes. You're right.
Everyone fucking hated him.
Yeah.
So it's funny that I don't know why. It's just funny that like now we would have any faith in him, but you know, I have faith in Kyle Shanahan to run this offense.
You're also, don't forget Elliott Wolf, who is at the time was the GM of the Patriots without the title, but now Elliott Wolf has been neutered, I guess, by Mike Vrabel. Elliott Wolf's like still works with the Patriots, but he's not really the GM anymore. It's funny, but Elliott Wolf went to the press conference and truly threw Mac Jones under the bus and basically was like, here's what we don't want in a quarterback, and just described Mac Jones without his name. But was like body language, shrugging, looking at teammates, being like, what do you
went to Alabama?
Yeah. Looks weird shirtless with a cigar in his mouth, like, you know, all this stuff. But
looks weird. What do you mean looks weird?
Sorry, fat.
Okay.
Relative to NFL players. He did. You remember the fucking picture?
All the best quarterbacks are not ripped, but yeah.
No,
Mahomes, he's just got like an Elon Musk torso. It's just
Mahomes has a beer gut that hides his crazy torso strength.
He's all torso.
But the Niners, it's funny. They signed Kendrick Bourne this week, and I'm going to have a weird declaration. I think that's actually a very sneaky, important signing because Kendrick Bourne, before he had his sojourn in New England that was worthless, well, he made a lot of money. No one else did. But Kendrick Bourne was the Juwan Jennings before Juwan Jennings. Kendrick Bourne was the third down guy for those Niners teams that should have won the Super Bowls. And it's not nothing to just kind of pick up a receiver that just instantly knows Kyle's offense. I'm not saying that that's going to be a fantasy thing, but for real life, it's kind of like Keenan Allen, the Chargers. I don't really give a shit if a 31-year-old receiver signs with someone on August 26th, but Keenan Allen signs with the team he played for, and suddenly Keenan Allen has a great week one, and he's useful. And I do think Kendrick Bourne has a chance to like, this is a weird, but in the third quarter, if the Niners win this game, I kind of think, well, maybe not this week, but I think Kendrick Bourne will actually be a sneaky important player on the Niners going forward.
Well, while you guys were...
Craig was like, I don't give a fuck about anything you're saying.
I've been hearing the Kendrick Bourne thing for a long time. He's 30 years old. He's a torn knee.
Yeah.
He doesn't move me. I do think Ricky Pearsall's going to be sick, though.
Yeah, Mac is going to feed Ricky.
And no one I saw one of my friends added Jake Tongs, the guy who had no catches until he has Tonges.
I don't know how to say it.
And I was like, don't do that. He had George Kittle, so he's like, I'll add Jake Tonges.
Don't do that.
I recently had my Tonges removed, actually,
I
don't think I can start him. Heyo. You know, when Mac Jones was quarterback in Jacksonville last year, he quietly started 8 games. Brian Thomas, wide receiver 3 with Mac Jones, was better with Mac Jones than Trevor Lawrence.
Mac Jones has a little bit of Jameis to him, like a don't give a fuck, I'm going to throw it up there. You're down there somewhere kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm into this. While you guys were initially talking about the 49ers, I was Googling, did the 49ers build their stadium on a Native American burial ground? And the answer is technically no, but
It's all Native American
Kinda.
burial grounds, technically.
kind of. That's because man, they are just freaking cursed. They're freaking cursed.
Yeah,
It took one game for Kittle and Purdy to get hurt.
I know. It's brutal.
CMC is the most healthy on the team.
They did something worse, which is they had back-to-back games at MetLife 4 years ago, and the whole team never really got over it.
No,
Oh my
the worst
God.
thing they did was they decided to play in Santa Clara. That's the problem. That's what's cursed, is they went to Santa Clara to be the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
Which we will know. We're going to the Super Bowl this year, which is in San Francisco. Santa Clara, not that close.
Dude, that was like one of my favorite memes of the. We should do that at the end of the year.
Not
Favorite
that
memes of the year.
close.
One of my favorite memes was they announced the World Cup final, and they were like, "It's in New York," and then people had the meme of David Beckham going to Victoria Beckham. Where is it really? And they're like,
Yeah.
"It's in New Jersey."
That reminds me when I studied abroad in Costa Rica way back in the day in college, and I would tell people where I was from, and everybody, like literally every single time, was like, "Oh, Circa de New York." I'm like, no, it's not close to New York. It's like several thousand miles away from New
Dude,
York.
Santa Clara, Levi Stadium is 42 miles from San Francisco.
That's fine. I will say, everyone. Can I just say with everyone gives the Meadowlands thing shit. They're like, "Oh, it's not New York, it's Jersey." It's like, okay, it's very close to New York, and they're like, "Buffalo's in New York." I'm like, Buffalo is hours from New York City. I understand Buffalo's in New York State. Buffalo is fucking closer to like Indiana than New York City.
Toronto,
saying.
probably. Yeah.
Yeah, well, definitely. Okay. The other game. So those are all the early games. The late games are. I'm going to give them as much attention as they deserve because there's 3 games. One's Eagles Chiefs. The others are Broncos-Colts and Panthers-Cardinals. I mean, come on. Panthers-Cardinals. We don't have to give much time unless you guys have thoughts. It's like the Panthers look like ass. You can play Ted McMillan and Chuba Hubbard again. Kyler Murray, play Marvin, play Trey McBride. That's it. Honestly, kind of want to see the Cardinals stomp them. Kind of want to see the Panthers look out good, but the Panthers defense is going to be ass. And you guys have anything to add? I mean,
You're playing James Conner. I don't know if you said him, but
James Conner. Sorry, thank you. James Conner, you have to play because the Panthers' run defense. I mean,
terrible. Travis Etienne just had like
horrific.
140 yards.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yes, you have to play James Conner. James Conner could be a week winner this week. That's like the Mario Kart rainbow strip. It's just the Panthers defense. Broncos Colts, I think, is more interesting. The Peyton Manning Bowl. I think Daniel Jones is going to get his ass beat. I think Daniel Jones is going to just maybe he'll have
They're
a
gonna
decent
beat him
fantasy
up.
day with the rushing. No, they're going to kick the shit out of him. Like this dude's fucked. I really think the Broncos defense is going to kick his teeth in.
The Broncos defense
Am I
is
inappropriate?
No,
Am I
that's fine.
wrong?
No, look, we can't get 2024 New Orleans Saints by this Colts performance last week. We can't.
He's going to get his ass beat. I'm telling you, man.
With that said, though, so I mean, you're starting Jonathan Taylor, obviously. You're starting Tyler Warren, I would say, obviously.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Tyler Warren at this point is just the top 5 tight end.
With how good Denver's cornerbacks are you playing any Colts wide receivers?
You can.
I think I would start Pittman.
Yeah, you
Pittman.
can play Pittman, but like you don't have to. It's Patrick Surtain's the defensive player of the year.
Yeah, but Pittman, the thing about Pittman, and I will say this, and we talked about this a little bit in the preseason where Pittman was a Glansberg. We weren't talking about him at all, but there was a thought for a long time, for most of the preseason, that Anthony Richardson was going to be the starter. And so therefore, just the accuracy and the lack of cohesiveness was going to ruin Pittman. But with Daniel Jones playing this type of offense where it's a lot of RPOs, a lot of stuff over the middle, crossing routes where I don't know, it's going to be like, I think he's going to get open a lot, even if it is a tough cornerback matchup, just based on the way that some teams play defense. I think he's going to have a lot of opportunities in this offense. And it's like similar to a couple of years ago. I can't remember what exactly his production was, but he had 85, 70, like 90 catches or whatever it was, where it was just a lot of that stuff. It's the high rely or whatever. It's like it's the easy
variance,
easy button stuff, high variant, like the low variance stuff. It's like not like deep down the sideline stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of interested in Pittman for the rest of the year because of this offense, because of the quarterback, and just because of the style of stuff that they're going to ask him to do.
I think you can play. I don't want to like be watching the Colts and being like, oh my God, I need Daniel Jones to do something against this Denver defense right now. I will say though, also the flip side though is Bo Nix also kind of played like shit last week. If Caleb Williams did what Bo Nix did last week, we'd be like, oh my God, we'd be even harder on Caleb Williams than we were.
I was gonna say Caleb took the heat. You know that meme where it's like the guy standing over someone and all the knives are coming down? That was like Caleb Williams for Bo Nix's week 1 performance. Obviously, Bo Nix has a whole season of playing pretty good, so that helps. But Bo Nix was 25 of 40 for 176 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks, 4.9 air yards per attempt.
It was not a good day.
He had 39% success rate, which was 27th. Literally dead last in PFF's passing grade. He had 4 turnover-worthy plays, which was tied for most in the NFL with Tua and Baker. It was a tough game for both.
You know how Cam Ward had 2 fantasy points and was awful and got in field goal range and ran backward? The Titans should have won that game because Bo Nix played so poorly. Like the Titans should have beaten Denver, which is hilarious.
They got the ball on what felt like the 50-yard line 7 different times, the Titans, and they just kept getting field goals.
So yeah, it's one of those week 1. I don't think it's worth like lingering on it, but you would like to see the Broncos market improvement. I just would ignore that for now, and then we'll see if it sticks. Sunday Night Football is Falcons-Vikings. So JJ McCarthy, first 2 starts are Monday Night Football and Sunday Night Football. And then we get to see McCarthy versus Penix, 2024 draft class. The less heralded guys, I think, are Penix and McCarthy along with Bo Nix, and it's funny to see them match up. Falcons, I think Vikings defense is viable just because Penix, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of pick 6 potential here. But I don't know, Craig, what do you make of the Vikings running back situation?
I think you honestly play both. And I think what we're learning is that Aaron Jones is starting to turn into more of the third down, passing down kind of running back, and that Jordan Mason is kind of the hammer who gets the first and second down carries. Last week, Jordan Mason, 16 touches. Aaron Jones had 11. But half of Aaron Jones' snaps were on passing plays, and Jordan Mason looked like the better rusher. He had like 75 yards rushing, looked pretty good. But Aaron Jones caught that touchdown though, that kind of saved his day. I'd probably lean Jordan Mason season long, I think, but I do think both these guys are like classic flexes. They're kind of in the Charbonnet Walker range where they're pretty close to a 50-50 split. But I do think both of them are startable.
Classic flex is a good way to put it. I think Jordan Mason looked better. But Aaron
as
Jones
a runner for sure.
Catch more touchdowns or catch more passes. I mean, I agree. Classic flex is a good way to put it.
This is kind of a weird Sunday night game.
Yeah, it is weird.
Why wasn't this Eagles Chiefs? Yeah.
I think so. I think the real answer to that is that the NFL schedules those things the way they do it on purpose. So I think that they look at it as Sunday Night Football.
Well, now they're going to gobble up the late games, right? Like they have 2 shitty late games around Eagles Chiefs so that they can basically have a second Sunday Night Football.
I think they look at it like a funnel. You know, it's like a marketing funnel. It's like you have this giant Eagles Chiefs game, and they're like, we want to put everyone basically watches their teams at the early window. Everyone watches Eagles Chiefs. It's going to be everywhere outside of these. You know, I mean, these are relatively small markets that. The Broncos is a huge one, but otherwise it's like Arizona, Carolina. Like these are smaller markets, and then everyone there's not Denver is going to have Eagles Chiefs. It basically it's like a second primetime window. And then they're like, oh, you're on your couch. Here's Sunday Night Football. And they're kind of trying to see if it's almost like a second primetime. Speaking of second primetime, though, Monday Night Football, there's 2 games.
Hate it.
This is the worst. They're not doing this anymore after this year, right?
No, they're not.
I don't think so. Bucks-Texans is
and they kick off an
Eastern?
hour. An hour and 20 minutes apart, these 2 games. Which is like so stupid. I hate it.
No, it's not. It used to be that way, Craig. It's not. They're 3 hours apart. Bucks-Texans is at 4 Pacific, 7 Eastern. Chargers-Raiders is at 7 Pacific. It starts at 10 Eastern.
10 Eastern.
So they used to do that.
My God, it's going to get over at 1 a.m. What are we doing?
They used to start these games like an hour and a half apart. And I think it's because if the Monday night game was bad, they didn't want you to turn it off. This, I got to tell you, we haven't talked about this. Guys, I'm not doing this fucking show after Chargers-Raiders. I'm not fucking doing it. That's a real conversation. Like, we have not talked about this.
We should just record it during
I'm not starting this fucking podcast at 1:30 in the morning. On Monday. There's no.
What you should do is fly to California, and then we'll record in person. At a normal
save time. Chargers rate. I think that's going to be the lowest rated game in eons for the NFL,
dude.
Which is too bad because it's really interesting. And also, what a fucking sorry, I know I'm cursing a lot. What a waste of Jim Harbaugh versus Pete Carroll, which is the NFL's most underrated hatred. It goes back like 40 years. Jim Harbaugh beat Pete Carroll when he was a quarterback. Jim Harbaugh tried recruiting Pete Carroll's son in college. They hated each other in college. They had the NFC West battles. These guys hate each other. And what a waste to put it at 10 o'clock at night in the East Coast.
In Pete Carroll's defense, Jim Harbaugh is a fucking huge weirdo.
Psychopath. Absolute crazy person.
Like, I think
nuts.
I understand the rivalry and everything. Jim Carroll's just Jim Harbaugh is just objectively like a weird guy. Like,
but awesome.
Yeah.
He's the best best kind.
Carroll was asked about him today, and he goes, I remember Jim. I think he was just asked about like the memories and the fondness or whatever going way back. He's like, he goes, I remember Jim. I have no fond memories. Yeah, I have no fond memories.
Get out.
They like actually hate each other.
Dude,
this goes back to the famous thing was back in the day when Pete Carroll was at USC, they were playing Stanford, and I don't remember the exact details, but Stanford like ran the score up late in the game, and like I can't remember exactly what happened.
It was Andrew Luck. I think they won like 55-21.
Yeah, and they like went for it on fourth down late in the game or something like that to get more points. And Pete Carroll, like at midfield, just goes, "What's your deal?" to when they shook hands.
What's your deal?
Which I think is a fair question. Just overall, big picture.
It was 48-20. I'm looking to pull it up right now.
What is your deal?
48-21, and Harbaugh went for 2.
That's right. He went for 2. What's your deal?
And he said, "What's your deal?" And the answer was, I wanted 50. Harbaugh actually did he say?
He didn't answer. He didn't say anything back. I don't think
this is not proved, but the rumor is Harbaugh said, "They're like, why'd you go for 2?" And he said, "Because I couldn't go for 3."
Yeah,
which is fucking
which
awesome.
Is a bar. I like that. And I don't have any.
Someone wrote a Reddit post that was like incredible that recapped all this. That was better than any articles I could find. That actually was an incredible.
To be clear, I do not have anything against people running up the score. I just think it's a funny question to ask someone. What's your deal?
What's your deal?
What's your deal? What's your deal?
No, they hate each other anyway.
What's fucking up with you?
It's a travesty. DK, how old is your son?
6.
What time is his bedtime?
Like 8.
Okay, this game if you're in Eastern or Central Time, which is not to rehash this, but that's 80% of America. I'm just saying it's very silly to have. I just think this is a bad idea by the NFL. You have the Raiders are potentially like a new team. You have Ashton Genty's on the Raiders. You have Brock Bowers. You have Geno Smith. You have Pete Carroll. The Chargers with Herbert. You're trying to make a star. Literally 80% of the country of the population of America, children will be in bed before this big game begins, which is stupid. That's a dumb use of Chargers Raiders. That's a total waste of a game. In my opinion.
Yeah, you're not going to find anyone that's going to disagree with you on that.
No one asked. So this is also a funny cap to our whole time thing is on Monday. I want to know how you guys feel about a football game at 7 o'clock. When was the last time you got that for an NFL
terrible.
game? It's like Pac-12 after dark.
Yeah, it's weird.
No, I don't like it at all. Game. I don't want it. I don't need 2 of them. It's just nobody wants it. The other game is Bucs-Texans, which I got to say, I think the Texans are like the best team that literally no one cares about or talks about in the NFL.
Yeah.
The Texans have like a good roster, a good quarterback. They make the playoffs every year. Nobody gives a shit about the Texans. And I actually think this game, everyone's going to be on the Bucs in this game. And I think because the Bucs are very likable, they won last week. They have Baker Mayfield and Emeka Egbuka, whole thing. I think this is quietly a get-right spot for Houston.
Interesting.
Maybe I'm dumb, but I think, look, the Bucs were going to lose to the Falcons last week. I mean, they probably should have. Younghoe Koo missed a really easy kick. Baker Mayfield had 167 yards passing on the day. He had 140 before that last second touchdown to Egbuka.
Ugh.
And I'm like, they were not going to beat the Falcons, who are not a good defensive team. And now they're going up against Houston in Houston. The Bucs had 17 points against the Falcons for 99% of this game. And I think part of the reason why the Texans probably struggled to beat the Rams last week is because their offensive coordinator, Nick Caley, was on the Rams the year before that. And so I just think that even though the offensive line for Houston is terrible, I don't know. I think Houston has a lot of talent, and I'm not ready to just like call them a shitty offense.
The
Counterpoint?
Buccaneers.
Okay.
Oh, go for it, TK.
Well, I was just going to say the Buccaneers were one of the lowest pressure rates of any team last week.
The Bucs did not put up any yards last week. Again, Baker Mayfield had 167 yards passing.
I think the Texans' offensive line is so bad that the Bucs' pressure rate will be fixed very quickly. My counterpoint is basically everything you said is right, Craig. And also, I think we'll learn this week. We're not learn. It's still week 2. It's hard to be definitive, but I think we will get evidence whether the Texans' offensive line is passable enough that the rest of their team's good enough to win. Where it's like, can the Texans win basically being like they're not going to be able to run. Nick Chubb behind that line's a mess. Stroud's going to have to throw him out of all these bad situations while the defense is really good and can clean it up. Or if the Texans' offensive line's like a total Achilles heel that's going to ruin an otherwise incredibly talented team. The Texans, look, there's 3 or 4 teams to me in the entire league that have an above average defensive line and an above average secondary, and the Texans are one of them. And if it's wasted because their offensive line's trash, I think we'll learn that this week. I kind of think the Bucs are going to win. The Texans are going to start 0-2. And funnily enough, the Texans will be in last place in the AFC South at the end of the week. Like if the Titans beat the Rams or whatever, I think that would be really funny if the Texans are actually 0-2 and just at the behind the Colts, behind the Jags, behind everyone.
It's just tough because I think the smart zag is to take Houston in this game. However, the Bucs are
it's smart. No, it's a good case.
But Baker late game is like so exciting and clutch and fun, the whole thing. But I'm kind of like, man, Texans are favored by 2.5 points in this game. I don't know if people would have assumed that. It's
weird. No, you're right. It's funny. It's funny. The Texans are. It's frankly, among other things, they'll probably be a really good experiment in how far can you go in the modern NFL if you can't really run. We'll see.
I was going to say that the Texans offense is up there with the most sad offenses to watch for some reason. I love CJ Stroud, but it's just like this is a gross offense.
Everything looks hard.
Going back to last year. And obviously week 1 was no different. Stroud was pressured on 41% of his dropbacks, sacked 3 times, hit 7 times. The offensive line is a massive issue. And then they lost their center in the first game, Jake Andrews. And so now they're going to have a backup there. I don't know. It's tough. I like where your head's at though, Craig. I think it's interesting from the point of view that the Bucs were not nearly as good as it seemed like they were in week 1. And I'm guessing the Texans aren't nearly as bad as it seemed like they were in week 1 against a good
I honestly,
Rams.
when I saw that they were favored by 2.5, I'm like, wow, they're favored by 2.5 points against the Bucs. Bucs are good. And then I tried to figure out why that was the case.
Today's Ringer 107 is brought to you by FanDuel. So Ringer 107 is competition we're doing against other pods here at the Ringer. Competing against Bill, competing against House, Sal, Tabundo, Raheem, JJ, competing against all these other Shield, all these other Ringer people. They all said that we would come in last place. So fuck them, and we're going to try to kick their ass. We're going to pick 5 games right now. Craig, do you have any games you want to just earmark of everything we talked about that you want to bet on for Ringer 107?
I like Seattle plus 3 points against the Steelers. I like the Philly minus 1.5 versus the Chiefs, and I like Dallas minus 4.5 versus the Giants.
Yeah, I can't really argue any of those.
I like I think the Dallas one makes sense. I'm willing to do the Seahawks one, even though, like in my heart, I'm scared of that game. I think
I want to do that.
Just having them cover the 3 points, I'm down to do that.
I like other ones. I think those 3 work for me.
I had the Broncos minus 2.5 against the Colts.
100%. The Broncos, I kind of think they're going to rock the Colts.
We got like absolutely embarrassed by the Colts last week when we picked the Dolphins. So let's go against.
And we took the Broncos to beat the Titans by more than 8.5, and they didn't.
Should we pick the Patriots?
Maybe we should stay away from them then.
Should we pick the Patriots getting 1.5 over the Dolphins? Give the Dolphins the chance to beat us twice in 2 weeks. Dolphins just look totally fine. Beat New England. We look stupid. Man. I kind of just want to bet on Mike Vrabel over Mike McDaniel. I'm like, Mike McDaniel is going to be the first coach fired. Mike McDaniel, if he loses this game, is so fucked. And you don't really get that chance very much. And I know it's early in Mike Vrabel's tenure. Maybe the coaching isn't necessarily going to make a huge difference. But I'm like, man, this is, I think, right now, like one of the best coaches in the NFL versus one of the worst. And I kind of just want to trust the New England to win the game. And
you're talking about New England in Miami.
Yeah, but Brady was
like Brady couldn't fucking do it.
But can I tell you something?
Yeah.
None of the Patriots who played with Tom Brady are left. Literally, there's not one. Mike Vrabel is the only one left.
Thesis Ship You know that?
Yo, that's the thing.
Thesis.
There's no
Yeah.
planks left from the ship. There's 0 planks left from the ship.
Ship of Thesis, or is it Theseus?
Theseus.
No, Theseus.
Theseus.
I don't like that, but if you want it, that's fine.
No, I don't. No, I don't want to. I'm not talking anyone into a fucking Drake May having won one game.
Which
No,
ones?
I'm
Okay,
not doing
sorry,
that.
real quick.
Shit.
Which ones are we together on?
So we're
together with Dallas.
locking in Seattle +3 over Pittsburgh. So, and again, this is Seattle to win by 3 points or more versus Pittsburgh.
No.
Eagles-
Seattle can lose
Sorry,
by 2.
Yeah, you're right.
Or
Sorry.
less.
Yeah,
or
you're
win.
right. Sorry. So the Eagles are favored by 1.5 points versus Kansas City. We're taking that. Dallas favored by 4.5 points versus the Giants. I like that against Dallas is 15-1. Last 16 games. Broncos favored by 2.5. I think we lock those in, and I also want Seattle getting 3 points. I think those are great.
Do you want to get the 49ers?
They're 3-point
Jones?
favorites against the Saints.
Yeah.
Should we just do it?
It sure
Let me
felt
throw
like we
this
were
past
going in
you.
that direction earlier.
Should we just bet the Lions to beat the Bears by a touchdown or no?
Yeah, they're probably going to destroy them. I think. What if the Lions just atomize Chicago?
I don't know. They're going to blitz the shit out of Caleb Williams.
Well, here's what we could do,
Caleb
Craig. We
versus the
did
Blitz
this,
last week was
It was
horrific.
horrible.
we did this last
Disgusting.
week, Craig, where we did money line parlay. And so we could take Detroit.
Which we hit last
We
week.
hit that, yeah. We could take Detroit on the money line. And you could pair it with the Cardinals money line, probably. Let's see. Hold on, actually.
No, you probably want to
Should
pick
we
the
just?
Ravens.
Is it
The
a good
Ravens are
idea?
not
No.
losing. The Ravens are not going 0-2 at home against the Browns. Right? Right?
Yeah, but that's too.
I don't
too
think that
much
gets us
favorites.
there. There's weird
Oh, they might-
qualifications here on what we're
Too
allowed
much
to do.
juice. Yeah. Right.
Part of me is
Yeah,
like,
that's
should we
fine.
just double down on our own bets and just? No, that's dumb.
Do you guys feel strongly that like the Rams -5.5 against Tennessee?
Yeah, let's just do that. Sean McVay versus a rookie quarterback. If they lose, it's fun for content.
Should we do that?
Yeah.
I think it'd be interesting to me if the Titans won that game. But man, the Rams should win by a touchdown. Like they should.
All right.
Ugh, this is stupid.
It's settled.
All right, fuck it.
So recap real quick. Sorry.
We're doing Seahawks +3 against the Steelers, Eagles -1.5 against the Chiefs, Cowboys -4.5 against the Giants, Broncos -2.5 against the Colts, and the Rams -5.5 against the Titans.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's ride.
All right. That'll do it.
Today's Ringer 107 was brought to you by FanDuel, odds subject to change. I think that's all we got.
That's all she wrote.
I wanted to thank everyone. I'll just say, yeah, thank you everyone else for riding with this show, even though I'm at this bachelor party in Michigan. And what we were talking in the beginning, I wanted to just say, like, emails ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com. Like, I don't want classic bachelor party stories, but just like you said at the beginning, how like every bachelor party fridge looks the same. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. They're all the same.
So you just want ridiculous stories?
Kind of, yeah. I guess that is what I want. Yeah.
What do I want to know? What's the most inventive way you guys had a crazy night? Like what?
I
was like
want
fun activity?
creative things you would suggest to other bachelor parties. Bachelor party advice, both basics, like here's some pro moves. The guy who brings a box of liquid IVs is a fucking legend, but also like creative ideas. Did I ever tell my friend, we had a bachelor party in Denver for a friend, my friend, shout out Kyle. And the Airbnb had a shuffleboard table. And there's this beautiful, perfect weather in Denver. It was like 75 sunny every day. And we are in this like windowless basement with concrete walls playing shuffleboard for 4 hours.
Boy, dudes are the best.
And Jackie texts me and is like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, well, we're at a strip club. I literally was like,
You wanted to sound cool.
We're playing shuffleboard. It's 3 PM. We haven't left. Anyway, yeah,
We're 6 hours into a game of shuffleboard in a dungeon.
It's intense. We've been playing that little game where you flick the triangle through the
paper
uprights.
football. That's the best.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right, yeah. Emails are in fantasy football. Bachelor 101, and then also fun shit. Yeah, that it. Not fun shit. You know what I'm saying? Creative. That's
Inventive.
We were gonna have our friend. What we were gonna do for our friend Kyle, the only day it rained was we were gonna have everyone bring suits, and we like we thought he was going to take him to a really nice restaurant. And then we were going to show up and have him skydive in the suit. And then we were going to go to Olive Garden. We were actually going to
Olive Garden.
That was the idea.
It's good you don't do Olive Garden before the.
That's kind of what we thought.
You don't want like bottomless breadsticks or.
Yeah.
Well, is he like chill enough where he'd be like, oh, ha, I guess we're skydiving. Okay. Or would he freak out?
Once he got,
I feel like you kind of need to know
somebody's
down to skydive.
Yeah.
I feel like you can't really drop that on someone.
We
Have
thought
you
he
guys
would have done
skydived?
it. No, I wanted to do it, but it rained though. It rained. It was like lightning, and it was like a 90-minute drive, and we were like, it seems like we're going to get there and they're going to cancel it, which would kill the whole day.
I'm sure you obviously can't do this, but imagine how crazy it would be is if you could skydive where you fly above the clouds. Like it's raining and you fly above the cloud.
Oh, and then you're in the rain.
You jump out of the plane and it's sunny, and then you go through the cloud and then it's raining. That'd be nuts.
Dude, it's like Zelda. They just do that, just play Zelda. You can do that.
It doesn't click for me.
Craig has no idea what that means. It's all right. Anyone
I know Zelda. I remember that game. I never played it.
Tears of the Kingdom, baby. Good stuff. All right, let's get the fuck out of here. Thank you, DK. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Ronak. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Kai. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Our rankings, fantasyfootball.theringer.com for rankings week 2. We'll update those on Sunday morning as well with injuries and stuff. And yeah, Instagram, Ringer Fantasy Football, TikTok, everything. Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Hunt Tricks.
Oh,
yeah.
Hunt Tricks.
Let's go.
This is a K-pop Demon Hunters.
Oh yeah, Demon Hunter. Yeah, I haven't seen that movie yet.
Let me tell you something. K-pop Demon Hunters. Watch it. Don't learn anything about it. Don't turn it off when you do learn what it is, and then watch it. I gotta tell you, had a great time.
It's a banger.
It's the most watched film in the history of Netflix.
I have heard
K-pop Demon Hunters is it's a vibe.
the music is actually pretty catchy.
Mm-hmm.
I will
It's
say.
It's funny because this band is famous now, and they're a fake band.
All these memes are like of guys being like, I don't want to watch K-pop Demon Hunters, and it's like 90 minutes later, and it's like, oh my god, it's honestly the soundtrack to my head now.
Very popular. Very popular.
Who's your favorite of the 3?
I didn't watch it.
DK?
I haven't seen it.
I'm the only one who's seen it. Yeah, shout out Huntrix. It's great shit. Everyone should watch K-pop
Sure.
Demon Hunters.
I plan on
Turn it off when you see what it is.
I mean, I know.
Give it
I think
5
I know
minutes.
what it is. I know what it is.
Yeah, but
They're a
your
K-pop
job
band.
is to
It
follow
reminds me of
movies.
Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
It's kind of like that, yeah. It's kind of like, what if Taylor Swift was like the difference
A
between
demon hunter.
human
Hunting a
Yeah,
demon.
what if Taylor Swift kept the world safe from another realm of zombies? It's kind of like what
I mean, how do we know she doesn't at this point?
I don't know.
She does with her lyrics.
You can't prove she doesn't.
It's true.
DK, honestly, maybe your son would like it. Watch it with him.
I know. I'm going to have to. Calvin is not into movies yet. He just wants to watch shows. Every time we try to put on a movie, he's just like
Throw on our
Upset.
pod on YouTube. See if he kind of locks in.
locks in. Yeah, he knows you guys though. Whenever he sees you guys on the screen, he's like, "Oh yeah."
Did you?
Danny and
We
Craig."
never told Craig. So we were in LA and Calvin was there, but I saw way more of Calvin because we were at the hotel. Craig lives in LA.
I forgot to tell you
Calvin
this,
called me
yeah.
Craig the entire time.
I literally, this is so classic Calvin because he gets it into his head what someone's name is, and then he will not get off of it. It's like it happens in many other instances where I'm like, that's not your friend's name. You need to like focus. Her name is such and such. Like, stop calling her that. Like, he does this all the time. He just like locks into a name. But he called Heifetz. We went to the Natural History Museum. We were there. We were together for like 4 hours, and he called Heifetz Craig like 100 times.
Which didn't bother me, but it was funny to realize that we didn't tell Craig that. But yeah,
It's like Craig, come on, Craig,
You should have
come
just
on.
leaned in, and then I can be Heifetz now forever.
I did. I just was like, yeah, I'm Craig. Well, you guys were trying to fix it, and I was like,
Skippy
yeah,
and
it's
I
fine.
were like, his name is Danny. It's you got to get it. You got to think. You got to focus. His name is Danny. It was very funny.
But I kept feeding him lines and be like, Craig told me that. That was kind of that was.
What you should do is you should have acted like a complete asshole, and then Calvin would forever know that Craig was an asshole. And then,
yeah.
Well, I mean, what else is new?
yeah, right.
People named Craig generally are.
Is that right?
I don't
Is that
know.
right? Craig Robinson?
No, I don't know. I just made that up.
Who else? Craig. Who else is named Craig?
Craig
Kilborn?
Sager, R.I.P. Sager,
Oh yeah, Sager.
Sager.
Craig
R.I.P.
Sager. Craig Kilborn. Craig Robinson.
I'm out. Actually, this is a great question. How many Craigs does Craig need to dethrone to be on the Mount Rushmore of American Craigs? It's way closer than DK and I. How many Craigs?
Oh my God, yeah.
Who's the guy that made Craigslist?
Oh yeah, that guy.
Craig Newmark.
Craig T. Nelson, the actor.
Oh, I know him. Yeah.
He's Mr. Incredible.
Oh,
but we're not counting.
You could pass him.
Craig
T.
Ferguson,
Nelson's kind of a legend.
The Scottish.
Daniel Craig doesn't count.
No, it's got to be first name. Craig Ferguson was a famous talk show host for a while.
That's who I was trying to think of. Yeah,
you could surpass Craig Ferguson. That's realistic.
Craig Ferguson was big.
No, he's famous.
He's also Scottish, so we could just say American Craigs.
That's true. You know, there's actually not a lot. It's like Craig T. Nelson, Craig Robinson, and Craig. Oh my God!
I think Biggio? At the end of our show's run, we could make you a top 5 Craig. I think that's real. That's like within our range of outcomes.
That's what my parents wanted when they named me. They're like, we hope he'll be a top 5 Craig one day. Yeah. That's why they picked it. They were like, he has a shot. We can't name him John. He's got no shot.
No shot.
No fucking shot. Matt,
John is stacked.
John. Which name is the most stacked?
John. Definitely John.
John Smith.
John's big.
In America, I think it's got to be John.
Yeah. Bob. Bill.
Bob.
Bill is pretty tough.
There's a lot of Bills. Bill Krosky Merritt. I mean, imagine trying to beat that.
That's hard enough. Then Bill Gates, Bill Simmons, Bill Withers. The list goes on and on. Keep naming Bills. How many famous Bills can we go before we have to stop?
Bill Skarsgård.
Yep. Bill Cosby.
That's sentence score. No one's ever said Bill Krosky Merritt, Bill Gates, Bill Simmons, Bill Skarsgård in a row. No one's ever done that.
Keep going. How many Bills can we get to? I said Bill Crosby, Bill
James,
Bill Nye.
Bill Nye.
Science guy.
Bill Nye's on the list. Bill James invented sports analytics.
Billy Bob
So he
Thornton.
kind of ruined sports.
Ooh.
Billy Bob Thornton. Bill, who was the guy in the Redneck Comedy Tour?
Bill Cartwright.
Oh, yeah.
Is that it?
Was his name? You're talking about the Larry the
There's
Cable
Jeff
Guy, all those
Foxworthy,
guys?
Larry the Cable Guy, Ron White, and Bill.
Oh, was it Bill?
Something.
Bill?
Bill?
Oh,
damn it. Bill something. I don't want to Google it.
Oh, have we run out of Bills?
No.
No.
Was there a president?
Bills.
Well, there's William Taft. Does he count?
Oh, sure. Bill Clinton. We should.
Oh, Bill Clinton.
We forgot Bill Clinton. Christ.
Should have got that earlier. Jeez. Bill
Brasky from SNL.
I'm Bill Brasky.
Bill Hader.
All right. Bill Hader.
Oh, Bill.
Bill Hader, not the first Bill from SNL. Oh my God. Bill Krosky Merritt's number 1 though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we getting out of here? Or are we doing more Bills?
No, that's good.
Did I say thank you already?
Yeah.
Oh, you thanked Huntrix. Right. We got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just end the show now?
Yeah. Say goodbye.
Okay. Goodbye, everyone.
Bill Murray.
Especially
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray. Oh my God. Okay. Now goodbye, everyone. Must be 21 plus and present in select states, or 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in, must apply profit boost token on select market. Prize pool to be split equally among all eligible participants who made the correct first or last TD pick. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 21 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut.